Bellator MMA tonight, right here in Lewiston, Maine now, presents 3 5-minute rounds in the welterweight division. Introducing the red corner first at 6'1", weighing in 170.5 pounds. His professional record, 4 wins, 3 defeats, fighting out of Bangor, Maine, the Ryan Sanders. And across the cage, his opponent fighting out of the blue corner at 6'3", weighing in at 170.6 pounds. His professional record, undefeated, 3 victories, no defeats, fighting out of London, England, Michael Venom Paige. And the referee in charge of the contest, John English.
This promises to be fun and a bit unusual in the welterweight division. Ryan Sanders versus Michael Paige. Our tale of the tape is brought to you by Dave & Buster's. Visit daveandbusters.com.
Look at the 5-inch reach advantage of Michael Paige. Not only is he unorthodox, but an unusual build and a big reach advantage.
Michael, you ready? Ryan, you ready? Come on, boys, let's go!
The bell in round number 1. Here's our fight clock. It's brought to you by Miller Lite, the official beer of Bellator. It's not just a good time, it's Miller time.
Oh, good right hand. He's in big trouble.
And that is it! A one-punch knockout win for Michael Paige in his US and Bellator debut.
Before it even began, this fight is over. This crowd is stunned into silence, man. Hometown fighter got clipped. Didn't even break a sweat. Let's see if we can get that again. Since he liked it so much the first time. Look at that right hand. Doesn't even bother with any ground and pound. Just clipped him. A grazing shot right on the temple.
Watch the footwork. Crazy how he stands to throw that right hand, Jimmy.
Ladies and gentlemen, the end comes 10 seconds into round number 1. The winner by knockout, Michael Venom Paige.
Let's go to Jimmy.
I'm here with your winner, Michael Paige. Michael, you said I'm unorthodox. I hit from funny angles. That punch came from your hip, my man. Great finish in the United States.
I'm loving out here. I wish I could have done a lot more and shown, put in a bit more of a performance. But I've done the job, and I'll be back here again.
Now, how do you feel? They showed the knockout. Did you know the right hand was coming? Did you feel the timing? Tell us about the finish of that fight.
I always know my right hand's coming, man. I train that all the time, and that's what it is. I'm a long-range fighter, and I can hit you from anywhere. So it is.
Now, going through this fight, didn't even break a sweat. Are you looking forward to getting back into the Bellator cage, showing the fans what you got?
I'd love to come and fight again now. 5 minutes. I love it.
You heard it. Giving up for your winner, Michael Paige, ladies and gentlemen.
Dave & Buster's brings you our tale of the tape. Eat, drink, play, watch sports.
Look at the height, 6'1", 6'3". They're used to being the much taller fighter in the cage. Both guys comparable tonight. How will they deal with having another tall fighter in front of them?
Here is Bellator cage announcer Michael Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to the Landers Center live on pay-per-view. Bellator MMA now presents 3 5-minute rounds in the welterweight division. Brought to you by AttackPoker.com, the official online gaming partner of Bellator, where free-to-play online gaming meets MMA. And now, first introducing the red corner. At 6'1", weighing in at 170.1 pounds. His professional record, 8 victories, 2 losses, fighting out of Gastonia, North Carolina. Introducing Ricky, the Sniper Rainey. And across the cage, his opponent tonight fighting out of the blue corner at 6'3", weighing in 170.5 pounds. As a professional, he stands undefeated, 5 victories, no defeats, fighting out of London, England, Michael Venom Paige. And the referee in charge of the contest, Kevin McDonald.
All right, guys, this is 3 rounds under the unified rules. I want a good, clean, fair fight. Any questions, red? Any questions, blue? Touch gloves if you want. Come out swinging.
Jimmy, I've never seen an arm raised and a stare down in any combat sport.
Right there.
Especially with the hand puppet motion. I've never seen that before.
Rainey versus Michael Paige. To start our Bellator pay-per-view, this in the welterweight division.
Ready to fight? Ready to fight? Let's go.
The bell in round number 1. Tonight's Fight Clock is brought to you by Miller Lite, the official beer of Bellator. It's not just a good time, it's Miller time. Look at the footwork, look at the hands of Michael Paige. Rainey in the orange trunks, Paige in the gray trunks.
The key here is stalk, don't chase. If you're Rainey, you can't afford to follow this guy blindly. He will knock you out. He's got to cut off the cage, corral him, don't follow him straight back.
Look at that angle. Right hand lands from Rainey. Paige hands down, showing his shoulder. Jump knee from Paige. You see Rainey trying to close the distance. Uppercut from Paige.
And Rainey seems a little lost. And he's hurt. I think one of those shots hurt him. Doesn't have his legs under him. And he is Roy Jones in him now, looking away and throwing the counter strike, man.
Paige was looking at the referee, Kevin McDonald, not even looking at Rainey. A look away right hand lands, now looking in the crowd.
Man, you just don't see this very often.
Think about the dominant striking styles that have emerged over the 20-and-a-half-year history of our sport, Jimmy. Boxing, kickboxing, Muay Thai. You just don't see point fighting.
No, you don't, but you also don't see point fighting like this. I've seen point fighting before. It's not done like this. He's doing a very good job of mixing things up and landing meaningful strikes. Rainey has been rocked.
The Bellator MMA app, you can download it now free of charge. Score every round as you're the 4th judge. Real-time stats courtesy of CompuStrike. Straight left hand from Paige.
See Rainey breathing heavily already. I think he's just tired from chasing Michael Paige around.
Shoulder roll, the hand roll, the foot shuffle. Look at the showboating from Michael Paige. Shades of his countryman from boxing, Prince Nassim Hamed.
Yeah, very true. Crowd booing a little bit, but it's up to Rainey to do something about it.
Halfway through round number 1.
For the American, I'm for referencing Pernell Whitaker, but we're all different. But stepping in behind the jab, he's landing meaningful shots when Rainey comes in. He's not pitter-pat punching. He's being very accurate.
Then Rainey trying to work to the inside, trying to work to the clinch.
What he's caught Rainey doing a couple times is looking. You don't want to become an observer in a fight like this. And with someone with Michael Paige's kind of style, you kind of end up looking at him rather than attacking him. You cannot do that. You can't become a spectator. Against really flashy strikers, a lot of opponents become spectators. You can't let that happen.
Takedown from Rainey. Paige right back to his feet. Never went to the bottom position. Rainey keeps loading up the knee, but not throwing. There's the separation from Paige. Jump knee.
Beautiful shot.
Spinning back fist. Rainey bleeding out of his nose. Paige waves his right hand. Again, looking away, switching stances. Final minute, round number 1. Rainey again closing distance, Paige turning away. Big right hand.
That's it.
Kevin McDonald steps in. And this fight is over. A one-punch knockout win for Michael Paige. Just like that, he's 6-0.
Man, he just put the rest of the division on notice. That was a show, Sean. That was a performance. That's something you don't see often in MMA.
Ladies and gentlemen, inside the Bellator cage, one punch ends it, landing officially 4 minutes, 29 seconds into round number 1. The winner by TKO, still undefeated, Michael Venom Paige.
Flash all the way around for Michael Paige. He's victorious, and he's with Jimmy Smith.
I'm here with your winner, Michael Paige. I see you have the Elvis glasses on. That was a performance, not just a fight. It's somebody who had that fight mentally in hand from the beginning. Is that how it felt?
I felt in control the whole time. I came here supporting the show. I think I did that. I think I proved why I'm supposed to be here. And I'm gonna come back, and I'm gonna do it again, and again, and again.
Now, you set up the right-hand shot with the jab. He was aggressive. He kept coming. Do you felt you had the timing for that knockout shot at the end? You looped it just over his hand. Was that the thought of getting that shot in?
Yeah, this is the stuff that I've been practicing all the time. So I knew I had his game. You know, you can say that from outside the cage, but once I got in here and I felt him out, in my head I knew I had that.
Now, of course, you're at 170 pounds, a stacked division in Bellator full of a lot of guys with knockout power. Andre Koreshkov, of course, Douglas Lima in this division. How do you feel you stack up with those guys? This was a great job on our pay-per-view, but how do you feel you stack up at 170?
I like to tell everyone, and I say it all the time, I want to take my time in this sport and grow properly. So when you do see me matching up against these guys, I will be ready. But right now, I'm still growing.
Now, of course, you were excited to kick off our pay-per-view. You wanted an exciting performance. Do you feel you lived up to that tonight?
100%, and I want to come back and do even more.
You heard it. Give it up for Michael Paige, ladies and gentlemen.
Let's now see how these two fighters line up with our tale of the tape, which is brought to you by Dave & Buster's Eat, Drink, Play.
Look at the record of Michael Paige, 6-0, all first-round finishes. The reason for that record, I think, a big part of it, that reach advantage that he has over Nashawn Burrell. Hard to close distance on Michael Paige without getting knocked out.
Let's get to it with Michael Williams.
Bellator MMA, along with WinStar World Casino and Resort, stay a little longer. Now, move to the welterweight division. 3 5-minute rounds brought to you by AttackPoker.com, the official online gaming partner of Bellator, where free to play online gaming meets MMA, and by Everlast, MMA Evolved. And now, introducing first the red corner at 5'11", weighing in 171 pounds even. His professional record, 10 wins with 4 losses. He fights out of Philadelphia, PA. Introducing Nasha, the Rock and Roller Burrell. And across the cage, his opponent tonight, fighting out of the blue corner at 6'3", weighing in 170.9 pounds, undefeated as a professional, 6 wins, no losses, from London, England, presenting MVP Michael Venom Paige. And the referee in charge of the contest, Jason Herzog.
Fighters gone over the rules in the back. There are no final questions from you, Blue. No final questions from you, Red. Touch gloves, come out ready to fight.
Join the global conversation on Twitter amongst all Bellator MMA fans. Use the hashtag Bellator128. That's just what Liam McGeary did, wishing his fellow Englishman Michael Paige well in this welterweight fight.
He even tweets in British English.
Let's round, fighter, you ready? Fighter, you ready? Let's fight!
Round number 1. Tonight's fight clock is brought to you by the official beer of Bellator, Miller Lite, back in its original look. Just look at this stance of Michael Paige. Burrell is in the black and red trunks, Paige in the green trunks. Here's Burrell, true to his word, coming forward, closing the distance. Paige wants space, he demands space for his fighting style.
You can demand anything, he has to make the space.
Download the new Spike app and watch all of your favorite shows, as well as some of Bellator's biggest names and best fights, anytime, anywhere, for free.
You know, you look at his stance, you look at his style, and you think he'd be easy to get to the ground. He's not. Very good footwork.
Clever turn by Nashawn Burrell. Thus far limiting the space of Michael Paige.
What we haven't seen a lot from Michael Paige is the inside game. You know he can hit you from long range, good looping punches. But how does he do on the inside? Uppercuts, hooks, elbows, knees. Haven't seen a lot of them.
Modified axe kick attempt by Paige. You saw when he was on the inside, instead of throwing Jimmy, he pushed out and moved back.
Bided his time.
So going to miss with the overhand right by Burrell.
Oh, clipped him with that one.
Paige relying on his reflexes for striking defense. You see hands below his waist. There's the shoulder roll. Good right hand by Burrell.
Burrell's not being a spectator. He's attacking. He said it. He said pressure, pressure, pressure. That's what he's bringing. And that's a strategy that might not pay off in the first round. He's eaten some strikes, hasn't done a lot of damage. But part of the strategy might be just, hey, drag Michael Paige into the second and third round, which, by the way, he has never seen in MMA.
And Jimmy, to your point, what Burrell is doing is slowing down the offense, the attack of Michael Paige.
Nice switch attempt. That built up the range that he needed. Got some space for his hips, back to his feet. Speaking of Prince Nassim Ahmed, he'll go his hands down by his knees.
Straight punches to the inside for Paige.
So it might be a little bit cut around his right eye. It's a little bit of redness there.
Burrell continuing to come forward, continuing to apply pressure, get to the inside. Tito Ortiz and Stephan Bonner battled to put an end to their bitter feud. Plus Chandler Brooks 2, Melvin Manhoff versus Joe Schilling, and the return of King Mo, November 15th, San Diego, California. See it live and free on Spike. For tickets, Bellator.com. Inside knee from Burrell. 90 seconds remaining, round number 1. Nashawn Burrell back to the inside. In Bellator's welterweight division, Nashawn Burrell facing the undefeated Englishman Michael Paige. Still to come tonight, our main event. You will see it live on Spike for Bellator's bantamweight world title. The self-proclaimed baddest man on the planet, Joe Warren, versus the defending champion, Eduardo Dantas. Burrell keeping the tempo slow, keeping the space limited.
Crowd booing should be music to Burrell's ears. That's the kind of pacing he wants. Doesn't want to be out here in the middle.
Back kick attempt, Burrell saw it coming. So tough to gauge the angle of Paige. Lands that spinning back kick.
Can't get reckless, and he just did.
Paige said, I want to keep this standing, but if it goes to the ground, I want to show that I'm not just a pure striker. Feels that he's made big improvements with his wrestling. Burrell right now, keeping the tempo slow, and that's exactly what he wants. For the first time in Michael Paige's career, he will go to round 2.
Hey, letting him know you're not going to push me around.
Good decisive refereeing from Jason Herzog, immediately stepping between the two fighters. The Chickasaw Nation is assigned tonight's judges. Jimmy, what did you think round 1?
10-9 for Michael Venom Paige. Just landed the more significant strikes. Didn't do a ton of damage, but he was in control of that first round. Nashawn Burrell, that first round more about pacing for him.
But Jimmy and I know your round-by-round scorecards on Twitter, at Jimmy Smith MMA, at Sean Wheelock. Use the hashtag Bellator128. there are going to be some people out in the Twitterverse, Jimmy, giving round number 1 to Nashawn Burrell just for slowing down the tempo, thinking that's more effective striking.
Yeah, cage control. You know, he certainly had the, you know, had his moments where he pushed him up against the fence. A lot of times he was rushing in, being aggressive. But in terms of, you know, significant strikes, you know, effective striking, I think that was Michael Paige.
John Taffer and Adam Carolla are rescuing Sunday nights with all new episodes of Bar Rescue at 9 p.m. Eastern, followed by Catch a Contractor at 10 p.m. Eastern on Spike. Burrell staying sticky, not flashy, and he doesn't care, Jimmy.
No, does not.
Flash, he knows, is not going to win Burrell this fight. That's the domain of Michael Paige.
Know your enemy and know yourself. And fight 100 battles without disaster. Michael Paige, I don't think his confidence is really going to be hurt because he didn't finish him in the first round. He seems confident in this second round. He knew he was going to have some long fights, especially in Bellator. You move up, face more talented guys. So I don't see his confidence necessarily crumbling because he's in the second and third round. Nashawn Burrell's waiting for that. That's not going to happen.
Well, this isn't Paige's fight exactly as he wants it, lands that right hand. He's not taking damages, Paige, from Nashawn Burrell.
Yeah.
He's being frustrated, he's being slowed down, but he's not being hit that often.
And the reason I gave him the first round, he's still the one landing the more effective strikes.
Paige coming forward again. Tough angle, throws the head kick. Nicely defended by Burrell.
Just getting into the second and third round isn't enough. Burrell needs to be a bit more efficient, a bit more effective.
Across the halfway line of this welterweight fight. See, Paige just does not want to throw to the inside. He pushes off and gets back to the outside. This is where he knows he can do his best work. This is what Nashawn Burrell thus far has been limiting. Spinning back fist.
We still haven't seen that short game. You know, he hasn't shortened up his punches in order to catch Burrell coming in. They've all been straight punches, and once Nashawn Burrell gets past them, we haven't seen those second level of strikes. I think he needs to add that to his game. So far, it's kind of been long range or nothing for Michael Paige.
Paige missing with that overhand right. Burrell thus far, Jimmy, has shown really good defense on his striking timing. Seeing those punches extremely well and those spinning back strikes extremely well.
Problem is he hasn't been able to land his counter strikes in return. It's been here, this clinch effort. He hasn't really gotten anything done. Leaping jab.
Still to come tonight, our main event for Bellator's Bantamweight World title, Eduardo Dantas versus Joe Warren. Jimmy, we're getting to the point in this fight now where you think for Nashawn Burrell, as Paige hits that takedown, it's one thing to limit the attack of your opponent, but what are you doing in terms of your own offense?
Exactly.
Moral victories don't get you a 10-9 on the judges' scorecards.
But I like what I've seen from Paige. He hasn't gotten really frustrated. I mean, it's been a frustrating pace maybe, but a lot of guys in his position with the height behind him would, you know, take some risks, would have to feel the pressure and maybe make a mistake, and he hasn't.
Spinning back kick, just missed. That excited the WinStar World Casino and Resort crowd. Paige initiating that tie-up on the inside. Closing seconds, round number 2, Nashawn Burrell versus Michael Paige. Here comes the third and final round. Jimmy, very surprising stuff from Nashawn Burrell in one respect. But again, he told us his strategy, he's implementing it. What do you think scorecard-wise?
2 rounds to none for Michael Paige. He slowed the pacing down, but hasn't done enough damage to warrant a win in either round, in my opinion.
See the feinting, the posturing from Michael Paige. Page looking for the separation. He gets it back to the center of the Bellator cage. What we've not seen from Michael Page, Jimmy, are the real long-range straight strikes.
You have to remember, Nashawn Burrell, he's explosive, he's quick. I mean, obviously he looks slower than Michael Page, but, you know, that's something Page has had to respect throughout this fight. Nashawn Burrell is taking his time, exploding in at the right time. I'd like to see what Nashawn Burrell can get done on the ground. He's in good position to get the takedown here.
A cinch from Page. Herzog just told Burrell, fingers out of the cage. See how hard Page commits to this takedown? There's your answer. Releases his hands and gets face. Straight right hand. There's the clowning from Michael Page. And the big smile from the Englishman.
You can do that when you're winning.
Not much on that outside kick from Nashawn Burrell.
Watch your fingers, Blue.
Swing and a miss from Burrell.
No counter strike there.
Hands on his waist. Again, Page just relies on his timing.
Relies on his speed.
Steps into the pocket with his hands down.
If you're not relying on your fundamentals, what are you relying on? 9 times out of 10, it's speed. Definitely in the case of Michael Page, it's his speed, it's his timing.
Page talking to Herzog, wanting the separation, wanting the restart, center of the cage. Burrell with the level change.
Problem is, throughout this fight, it looks more like Burrell is looking to survive, not win, not do damage, just hanging on. Maybe he's trying to unload and get that big shot with 1.5 minutes left, but that's a risky gamble.
Big right hand from Page. Now he'll try to turn up the volume. Burrell stepping in, cutting off that spinning back kick. We'll see what Page does on his back. 80 seconds remaining in this fight.
All of Nashawn Burrell's wins by knockout, has never submitted an opponent in the cage. Michael Page has 2.
Low close guard from Page.
Wrist control meets triangle. Tried briefly to get it, couldn't get over the elbow with his leg.
Page trying to sit up and through. Burrell trying to stay heavy from top position.
Let go of the cage.
Burrell cutting the space, usually leading with the top of his head legally and smartly.
Watch the back of the head, fighter on top, or bottom.
Page back to his feet. Short right hand from Burrell. Page pushes off, gets separation. They look for one more big flashy strike. That was the attempt over the top on the spinning back fist. Burrell right back to the inside. 15 minutes up, 15 minutes down.
Over here, let's go.
Nashawn Burrell versus Michael Page going all 3 rounds. Jimmy, your final scorecard.
30-27, Michael Page. I gave him all 3 rounds.
Let's go to Michael Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, having gone the distance inside the Bellator cage, we go to your judges' scorecards presented by Icy Hot. Your first, actually all 3 judges make that David Sutherland, Kerry Hatley, Dan Matthiessen. All see the fight exactly the same at 30-27. All for the winner by unanimous decision, MVP Michael Venom Paige.
He hears the boos, but he remains undefeated, now 7-0. Let's go to Jimmy with Michael Paige.
Venom Paige, Michael, he closed distance, put you against the fence, made it a frustrating fight. Is that how it felt?
Yeah, it was frustrating because, yeah, like he said he was going to do, put pressure, close the distance, but he didn't do anything. You know what I mean? He was just more of a stalling out. He's trying to prevent me from playing my game, which is a good tactic if you're going to then pursue from there and do something, but he didn't.
Now, the first time in your career out of the first round, your first decision, how did it feel as an important message to send that you can stay in it in a long fight?
I can go for another 3 rounds if you don't want me to. He didn't do nothing.
You heard it. We'll see if we get in the Bellator cage. Your winner, Michael Venom Paige.
The tail of the tape is brought to you by Dave & Buster's, the only place to eat, drink, play, and watch sports. Rudy bears an awful lot of experience.
Part of what makes his technique work, look at the height and reach advantage he has over Rudy Bears.
We cannot begin a big night without the voice of Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome as Miller Lite presents Bellator MMA. Live from Mohegan Sun Arena, we kick off a night of welterweight action with 3 5-minute rounds brought to you by Dave & Buster's, the only place to eat, drink, play, and watch sports. And now, introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. At 5'11", he weighed in 170.8 pounds. His professional record, 16 wins, 13 defeats. From Kansas City, Missouri, introducing Rudy Bad News Bears. And across the cage, his adversary tonight fighting out of the red corner. At 6'3", he weighed in 171 pounds even. Undefeated as a professional, he brings 7 victories without a defeat. Fighting out of London, England, introducing MVP Michael Venom Paige. In charge of the action, your referee, Todd Anderson.
Gentlemen, I want a clean, active fight. You'll protect yourself at all times. Obey my commands at all times. If you wish to touch gloves, do so now. Step back.
The sign of the Cobra begins it. And I ask you this question, Jimmy, to begin. How can you possibly prepare for a fighter when there's no other fighter like him?
You try and bring in guys with that style. If you can't, you got to do it on the fly.
Rudy, you ready? Mike, you ready? Fight!
7 fights, 7 wins for Michael Venom Paige in the red gloves. Fight clock brought to you by Miller Lite, the original Pilsner Cheers. It's Miller time. And the dancing begins immediately.
And this is where Paige wants to be on the outside where he has space and range. And Sean Burrell had some success getting inside, but man, that's the speed of MVP.
He can strike from so far away. Spinning back kick, and Rudy Bears gets a takedown and immediately finds himself on the bottom. Good knee.
That's what's going to get Rudy Bears in trouble, is reaching punches. Has to stay tight, find his opportunities to get inside.
Huge left, and it's over, just like that. And the Express MVP train is rolling even faster down the track.
It's one of those things you can't believe what you just saw. You just saw Michael Venom Paige. Beautiful shot.
1 minute, 5 seconds into round number 1, the winner by knockout, MVP Michael Venom Paige.
He has spent a grand total of 29 minutes in the cage for his 8 professional wins. MVP with Jimmy Smith.
I'm here with your winner, Michael Venom Paige, MVP. The Cobra strikes again. You said you wanted a longer fight this time. Want to show what you could do. It was not to be, man.
I just want to say one thing quickly. The one and only MVP is back.
Now, take a look at this knockdown. You caught him with an outside shot. Even in slow motion, it looks fast. How did you set this up?
This is what I do all day, man. You know, I've been training for this. I'm a precision striker. I don't just throw for the sake of throwing. I throw, and that's what happens.
Now, on a night when the welterweights are showcased, it isn't just about winning. It's about getting your place in line for the title shot. What kind of statement did you think you made tonight?
I think everyone saw exactly what kind of statement I made tonight.
You heard him. You will see him again. MVP Michael Venom Paige. Give it up for him.
The Tale of the Tape brought to you by Dave & Buster's, the only place to eat, drink, play, and watch sports.
Look at the reach advantage from Michael Venom Paige, and he uses it so well. It's not about having an advantage, it's about using it. That's what he does.
Our night begins, as always, with Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome. As tonight, Miller Lite presents Bellator MMA live from Mohegan Sun Arena. The action begins now with 3 5-minute rounds in the welterweight division. Brought to you by Dave & Buster's, the only place to eat, drink, play, and watch sports. And now, first introducing the blue corner. At 6'2", weighing in 169.8 pounds, making his Bellator debut, he stands with 6 professional victories and 3 defeats. Hailing from Cleveland, Texas, introducing Charlie, the American bad boy, Ontiveros. And across the cage tonight, fighting out of the red corner, at 6'3", he weighed in 171 pounds even. As a professional, he's undefeated, 8 victories without a defeat. Hailing from London, England, introducing MVP Michael Venom Paige. In charge of the action, your referee, Dan Mergliana.
Charlie, center, please. All right, gentlemen, been through the rules in the locker room. I want you to obey my commands at all times. I want you to protect yourselves at all times. If you want to touch gloves, do it now. Best luck to both of you.
What makes this fight so interesting, Jimmy, is that Charlie Ontiveros, young in his career, but he is unorthodox as well.
Both guys have Taekwondo backgrounds. That is really important.
All 9 of his fights for legacy in Texas.
You ready,
best
sir?
regional promotions.
Ready, sir? Let's go, fight.
And you get uneasy about taking such a big fight, but what choice do you have? When the big stage calls, you answer. The fight clock brought to you by Miller Lite, the original Pilsner cheers. It's Miller time.
When it comes to striking, a lot of it is about the lines you are used to seeing. Ontiveros, his advantage is he's used to seeing Taekwondo lines. From positions like this.
Ontiveros started Taekwondo at age 6. His father has been his support. He came out of the rough part of Houston, Texas.
This crowd not real tolerant of this style.
MVP so cognizant of wanting to entertain. But he said, I've got to figure this guy out. Spinning back kick attempt.
MVP's like a cobra. That's his style. Very accurate with his strikes, but generally doesn't do a lot of combinations. He likes the one-shot knockout. He's a sniper, not a machine gun.
Seven of his 8 wins have come in round number 1, most in spectacular fashion.
This is what I mean about becoming a spectator. Ontiveros is looking at him, trying to read him, but not getting aggressive himself.
2 weeks from tonight, Daniel Strauss will fight Patricio Pitbull and cannot wait for the 3rd of that trilogy. Ontiveros takes one to get inside. Sean Burrell was the only one really to do this at all with Michael Venom Paige. That was the fight that went the distance. It lasted longer than all of MVP's fights combined, the other 7.
And what Sean Burrell did was make it chest to chest, push him against the fence, take away that range and space that he needs for his style to get going, but he didn't do enough with it. That's why he lost the fight.
Download the new and improved Bellator MMA mobile app. Exclusive videos, fighter stats. Those are fun to watch as this goes along, and you can become the 4th judge. Score every round live with other fans. Available now for iOS and Android.
Haven't seen a lot of Michael Venom Paige's ground game yet. Right now stuck in half guard. Passes to full mount. Nice transition.
That was easily done. And he take the back. Ontiveros turtles, but he's got to get out of there.
Last thing he wants is Michael Paige taking his back, getting a dominant position with those long legs. Going with the elbows, not trying to get punching distance. That's hard to do from here. But if you land nice elbows,
these are big shots.
Another big
shots.
That's it.
Ladies and gentlemen, inside the Bellator cage, the strike ends it officially. 3 minutes, 20 seconds into round number 1. The winner by TKO, still undefeated MVP Michael Venom Paige.
Jimmy Smith with MVP.
I'm here with the winner, Michael Venom Paige. We had seen explosive finishes from you on the feet, this time on the ground. What does that say to the rest of the division?
Yeah, I know I can finish anywhere. I don't have to prove anything. I hope he's okay. I just want to quickly to my little brother as well. It's his birthday. I want to say happy birthday to him and another brother of mine, Andy Carroll. But I really do hope he's okay. And I'm sorry it finished so early. You know I like to impress people.
The finish of the fight, talk me through it. You didn't raise up and try to get punching distance. You were landing short elbows. Did you know you had him in trouble? How did it feel?
Yeah, it felt different. I could feel like I had the control over him on the floor. But again, I did want to stand back up. It's a little bit slippery in here. I'm not going to blame that, but I just wanted to get over and done with. Bring on the next opponent. I'll be back to impress again.
And that's my question for you. You said I want to be a champ in 2016. What's next for you looking down the road, man?
It's down to Bellator, it's down to my coaches. Just whoever you put in front of me, it's the same thing that's going to happen.
You heard it. Let's hear it for Michael Venom Paige, ladies and gentlemen.
It is an all-star night at Mohegan Sun, and it begins with a guy who is all-star, the undefeated, unchallenged Michael Venom Paige. The tail of the tape.
This is what fighters have trouble with, the height and reach advantage of Michael Venom Paige.
A huge night in Bellator MMA history. It begins, as always, with Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome. As tonight, Miller Lite presents Bellator MMA live on Spike from Mohegan Sun Arena. We begin with 3 5-minute rounds in the welterweight division. Brought to you by Dave & Buster's, the only place to eat, drink, play, and watch sports. And now, first introducing the blue corner. At 6 foot, weighing in 171 pounds. His professional record, 7 wins, just 1 loss, from Hickory, North Carolina, presenting Jeremy "Hit 'em" Holloway. And across the cage, his adversary, fighting out of the red corner. At 6'3", weighing in 170 pounds, even, undefeated as a professional. He stands with 9 victories, no defeats, fighting out of London, England, presenting MVP Michael Venom Paige. In charge of the action, your referee, Big John McCarthy.
The first time John McCarthy has reffed an MVP fight. Most of them do not last long.
You ready? You ready? Get up!
And a huge right hand by MVP begins it. Holloway walked right into it. He tried to challenge him. He tried to charge him as he promised he would do, and Michael Venom Paige was waiting. How's that for a start?
And a brutal right hand to his credit. Holloway's back on his feet, but he's eating more shots.
He said he was going to pressure MVP. Nobody's been able to do it yet.
He's realizing the danger of getting in range. He's got to use his footwork. He's coming in forward. Paige can see him coming.
Led with the left that time with the misdirection. It's part Anderson Silva and part Bugs Bunny.
I don't think I've ever heard those two people put together. I'm impressed, Sean.
We've never seen anything like MVP. And I know Jeremy Holloway hasn't.
This is what Holloway wants. In tight, in clinch range. Throwing some grappling, some dirty boxing. Stay out of that distance range where Michael Venom Paige is just too fast to deal with.
It almost was 5 seconds into this fight. This is what Nishan Burrell did. He's the only one to get out of the first round with MVP.
Well, this is pretty much just what Nishan Burrell did. He made it close and kept him chest to chest, but couldn't throw any strikes from this distance. You see the trouble Holloway's having doing that as well.
It's funny, the first time fans saw MVP, they were booing him for the style. That shot came in low. And called for the timeout was John McCarthy. They were booing MVP because they weren't used to the style. Now they're booing fighters for slowing him down.
Just make sure that you're good. So get it off, tell me you're all right, okay? Stay right there. Hey, no. Be sure where you're at. Got it? Okay, come on.
License and registration, please.
Fight.
Let's see if that slows MVP down at all. Let's see what Holloway wants to do, but now it's dangerous to get in there. MVP, Taekwondo background, another big right, and that rocked Holloway.
That hurt him. In footlock position. His hips are not in the correct position. He can't kick from there. He can push him with the foot, but he can't kick him.
And that's it.
He reverse ankle locked him, counter ankle locked him.
He promised us we would see something new, and we did.
Man, I did not see that coming at all.
Neither did Jeremy Holloway.
Wow.
Ladies and gentlemen, inside the Bellator cage, the tap comes by way of a toe hold. Official time, 2 minutes, 15 seconds. Into round number 1, the winner by submission still, undefeated MVP Michael Venom Paige.
Let's check out the tail of the tape.
And look at the physical advantage of Michael Venom Paige, 6'3" to Cyborg Santos is 5'10", but only a 3-inch reach advantage.
The O2 Arena is coming unglued for Michael Venom Paige as we go to Michael C. Williams.
From the O2 Arena here in London, Bellator MMA presented by Miller Lite now features welterweight set for 3 5-minute rounds brought to you by Gold Bond Powder Spray. And now, first introducing the blue corner. At 5'10", weighing in 170 pounds even, his professional record stands at 21-17 with 12 victories by knockout, 6 by way of submission. From Florianopolis, Mato Grosso, Brazil, he fights out of Houston, Texas, USA. Introducing Evangelista Cyborg dos Santos. And across the cage, his adversary fighting out of the red corner at 6'3", weighing in 169.8 pounds. Impressive in the Bellator cage. The undefeated professional enters with 10 victories, 6 by knockout, 3 by submission. Hailing from and fighting out of London, England, introducing MVP Michael Venom Paige. In charge of the action, your referee, Big John McCarthy.
Everyone gone over the rules. I want you to protect yourself at all times, obey my commands at all times. I want you to fight hard, but fight clean. If you want to touch gloves, touch them now. Good luck to both of you.
For those of you unfamiliar with the unified rules, 3 5-minute rounds in MMA, unless it's a championship fight, 10-point must system, probably more liberal with 10-8 rounds in MMA than you're going to see in boxing. And effective striking, effective grappling, cage control, innocuous terms everybody's learning more about.
Here we go. You ready? You ready? Get up!
What would happen, everyone wanted to know, when Michael Venom Paige got in there with a true veteran. We're about to find out.
My question initially is, how does Santos handle the speed of MVP?
Not well at the start.
Santos not a fast guy at middleweight. Always kind of a plodding guy. Very traditional Thai style. How does he handle the speed?
And the range. Right there, you saw that kick not even come close, because MVP can start his offense from so far away. The speed you need to catch him is unfathomable.
Now, he talked about counter-punching. Problem is, you have to be able to read your opponent's offense somewhat to counter-punch. MVP generally so accurate. By the time guys figure him out, it's too late. Good right hand!
And MVP had game planned that. He didn't want any piece of Cyborg on the ground.
No.
The style is unorthodox, but it's not as much dancing and clowning right now, because I think he knows Cyborg isn't going to be affected by that.
No, he won't. It won't mentally get him out of the fight.
Big jump knee.
The problem is, I brought him into grappling range. That's not where he wants to be against Cyborg. Real submission skills. We saw that against Brennan Ward. Has him down. Here's where that build works against him. Long and tall, but Cyborg all over him with the pressure right now. Good job by MVP getting back to his feet. He's not out of the woods yet. Nice. Took him down away from the fence. Good tactical choice.
This is what so many people wanted to see. MVP out of a defensive position.
Looks like in a leg lock position of his own. Is he going to go for it? He is. What would it mean if he submitted Cyborg Santos? BJJ black belt. Not engaging his hips enough. See that arm in the way, in between his legs. That could be saving him right now. Surprised he went for that. This is exactly where Cyborg wanted to be early in this fight. 2 minutes left.
That's why this matchup was so unusual and so different from what we've seen before. The experience on the ground. As MVP has told us over and over again, he wants to show his jiu-jitsu, he wants to show the other parts of his game, but this may not be the night, this may not be the time, this may not be the place, and this may definitely not be the opponent.
And look, relentless pressure on the ground. Not giving him any space at all. Trying to move up, maybe crucifix, trying to pass that half guard. Got his leg through. Got his side control and trapping the arm.
First time we've seen MVP in this position. Did he do enough early in the round to build up a lead? This is going to make it, and those of you watching MMA for the first time, that's why these rounds are so difficult. 5 minutes is such a long time. You can have two very different fights take place within those 5 minutes.
Sometimes you have 3 or 4. At the beginning, MVP landing some good strikes, but Cyborg getting the takedown. So far, advancing position on the ground, but not much ground and pound, no submission attempts.
Cyborg said Michael Venom Paige is not a real fighter yet, no matter how many fights he has won, because none of his wins have been come from behind. Everyone wanted to see MVP get a test. He's got one.
Watch your fingers. Continue to work.
Remember what happened to Cyborg Santos the last time against Sayada Watt? He got so committed to trying to finish on the ground. He took so many shots. He's done a much better job protecting himself here. A strong, quick start from MVP, but a better finish for Cyborg Santos. Cyborg Santos was very much aware of not having this fight go the distance. He was concerned about decisions. A lot of Michael Bisping references over the last couple of the weeks leading into this fight. Doesn't feel like he'll get a decision here. At a close round, he feels will go against him, and that first round, if nothing else, was very close.
Right, and that's why I went 10-9 Paige. And also remember, effective striking, I believe that belongs to Paige. Effective grappling belonged to Santos, but Paige did go for that knee bar. Santos landed virtually nothing on the feet. So I'm going 10-9 Paige, but it's a close first round.
MVP back in his comfort zone now. Just like round one, the unusual movement is there, but the clowning is not.
And also that traditional Thai guard, hands up, very, very high, elbows down. You're not gonna feint Santos out of that guard easily. Gotta land something to make you move. Clowning's not gonna do it.
Saying those shooter box guys don't go for that kind of.
They certainly do not.
A little discipline there.
Oh, unbelievably disciplined. Thin line between sparring and war in that academy.
Every day, day after day after day after week after month after year.
Speed in that lead hand, phenomenal.
You don't see it until it's coming back. Cyborg will not take the bait. MVP's getting closer and closer, leaning in.
Now what he will do is try and capitalize with his grappling on opportunities like that. You see, when he had him open, he went for the lunge takedown, not a strike.
Wasn't much. Presence of mind to throw just that little back fist just to keep Cyborg away so he could recreate the distance after taking that chance.
I'm surprised Cyborg doesn't try a little bit more of that. We saw in the opening round, the back fist, not even to land, just to get close to MVP.
Talk about the tortoise in the hare.
No comparison in speed. But on the ground, no comparison in pressure, and that's where Santos wants to be.
Because MVP wants to take those big chances, score that spectacular knockout, but he could put himself in a position to end up back on the ground.
He's got to be careful of those back kicks. Not even close.
And Santos is giving up the strike halfway through because he knows he's not in the ballpark.
One thing MVP has really yet to do is open up with combinations. I mean, a lot of single strikes, a lot of setups. Hasn't really thrown more than one at a time. Maybe two, but not that 3-4 punch combination.
That's some, but not enough. By the time you lunge forward, you've already taken yourself out of a power punching position.
He's closing so much distance in one shot. It's very hard with Santos' build to have that lunging shot and keep your hips and legs underneath you. MVP is so long, he can do that. Look at that, straight right hand.
Legitimate 5-6 inch miss, and that's a mile in this situation.
Five seconds doesn't sound like a long time. In a 100-yard dash, it's forever. Beautiful liver shot. That hurt him. Santos is hurt. He is really hurt. He's taking his time to recover.
MVP doesn't buy it.
And he respects the power of Santos. You talk about the bravado, you talk about the confidence. He's also a smart guy. He knows he's in there with a guy that can hurt him. A wounded animal is dangerous. Doesn't want to go in there for the finish and give him that counter-punching opportunity.
What do you lose out of the playbook after taking a big liver shot like that? If you can even stay in the fight.
I mean, A, it's hard to keep your right hand up. B, it's very hard to move. C, it's hard to breathe. So just about everything you need in a fight, you lose off the liver shot. It can come back.
Cyborg runs into the jump knee, and it's over.
the hype train just pick up speed because it didn't derail? Wow!
That bandwagon is getting awfully full to Michael C. Williams to make it official.
Ladies and gentlemen, inside the Bellator cage, a flying jump knee ends it suddenly. 4 minutes, 31 seconds into round number 2. The winner by knockout, still undefeated MVP, Michael Venom Paige.
7 fights in Bellator, 7 wins, and another spectacular highlight reel finish, and yet another conversation with Jimmy Smith.
I'm here with a very excited Michael Venom Paige. Expectations were high coming into this fight, and you once again exceeded them. How does it feel here in the O2 Arena?
London! The one and only MVP is back!
This fight against a veteran who had fought everyone was supposed to silence the critics, to show you as a contender. To the critics that are still out there, what do you say to them?
Firstly, much respect to Cyborg. He is an absolute champ. He took me to where I haven't been so far. He pushed me. Much respect to Cyborg. He's a tough man. Tough man. But for the Pokemon Go lovers, I think I just caught me a Cyborg.
You heard it, MVP. Just caught him a Cyborg. Can't wait to see him again. Give it up for him.
People running around London today trying to catch Pokemon all gave up that chase to be here tonight to watch this man record yet another spectacular win and light this building on fire. The tale of the tape in the latest chapter of MVP is brought to you by Dave & Buster's, the only place to eat, drink, play, and watch sports.
What can you highlight? The height and the reach. That's how he fights like a cobra.
Bellator MMA presented by Miller Lite Now features tonight's co-main event. From SAP Center we go to 3 5-minute rounds in the welterweight division. Brought to you by Spike Sports. We introduce the blue corner first at 5'9", weighing in 171 pounds even. The veteran tonight stands with 25 professional victories, 13 defeats. From Menifee, California, presenting Fernando, the Menifee Maniac Gonzalez. And across the cage, his adversary tonight fights out of the red corner at 6'3", weighing in 170.8 pounds. Always impressive. He's undefeated as a professional. 11 wins, no defeats. Fighting out of London, England, presenting MVP Michael Venom Paige. In charge of the action, your referee, Jason Herzog.
Fighters gone over the rules in the back. There are no final questions from you, blue. No final questions from you, red. You want to touch gloves? Do it now. Come on, ready to fight.
No glove touch. This got personal for Fernando Gonzalez when MVP presented him with a helmet in August and said, "You saw what I did to Cyborg. Maybe you'll need this."
Ralph, are you ready? Are you ready? Fight!
I'll tell you, Fernando all week has been acting like he's not scared, and I personally believe him. And why touch gloves? They're going to fight anyway.
Fight Clock brought to you by Miller Lite, the original light beer. Cheers, it's Miller time.
Now the question here, Chuck, you've trained with Fernando. Is he usually, change isn't good. Is he usually an emotional fighter or not? If a guy's usually not emotional, you don't want him emotional.
No,
what do you think?
No, in fairness, no, he is not. And Paige did get on the wrong side of him. And I'll tell you right now, I don't love the start to this contest. I really think Fernando needs to pressure him. Paige right now, anytime he can get that posturing, that distance, that space where he can start using the movement. All that movement is a setup. So many people will say he looks arrogant. Again, I compared him to Anderson Silva earlier. People will say Anderson's out there mocking his opponent. No, he's not. It's a setup. He's trying to distract you. Right now, Paige is distracting him. Fernando needs to step in, get this thing dirty, and get his hands on him fast.
So many opponents of Michael Venom Paige just get caught standing around watching the show.
But you know, to your point, it's not emotional. There's a method to the madness. Prince Nassim Hamed, you go in, he hits you 4 times. He's controlling range with the movement. It's not just a showboating thing.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Yeah, people tend to, like, you know, discount it as showboating. It's not. It's tactical.
That's exactly right. It's all a distraction. You drop the hands. You're making him think he's safe. You move the feet. You're making him watch what you're doing. You roll the shoulders. You're making him watch you. If he's watching you, he's not attacking.
VP almost daring Fernando now to come forward.
And I personally wish he would. I understand why Fernando is circling, but at some point he needs to close this distance, particularly when he has the shorter reach.
He's also circling toward the power side, which is strange. Keeps circling to the left.
And he's leading with a rear leg kick. He's missed 3 of them. I think it's time to get in there with some jabs, maybe a cross, and clinch him up.
One thing about MVP, he doesn't throw a lot of wearing down strikes like a Muay Thai fighter. He doesn't really chop you down. He looks for that one pinpoint shot. Stylistically very different.
Point fighting.
Yeah.
Good oblique kick there. Again, I do understand why Fernando is circling away from the power, but at some point he's going to have to close this distance. I suggest he do it with his hands and look to get to a clinch.
We haven't seen any lead hands at all. No lead hooks, no jabs from Fernando Gonzalez.
Everything he talked about doing,
yes.
Not doing. As we always say, how do you simulate MVP? How do you prepare to face someone when there's no one like him?
It's tough. Not easy to find sparring partners that act like this, that fight like this, that have this kind of build.
Not easy to find people that act like that.
Very true. But you talk about your fight with Anderson Silva, and I noticed in that fight, your willingness to take that shot, to get inside. I might take one, but then I'm going to double leg, I'm going to take you down. That willingness to walk through the fire, we haven't seen that yet from Gonzalez.
That's exactly right. And I didn't come up with that blueprint. I stole it from other guys. But the reality is, when you don't have the reach, when you don't have the skills and the stand-up, you can crowd the guy. You can just overpressure him and shut a lot of his offenses down. Fernando is not doing that. He is circling well. That's the 7th air ball rear leg kick we've seen tonight. I think it's time to put that weapon away. I really think he needs to jab his way in, get to the clinch, and see what he can do here. Even if that leg lands, even if that kick lands, it's not going to get him any closer to turning this into a grappling contest, which is exactly what he admittedly told us he needs to do to win.
In the early days with MVP in the States, fans would get frustrated at him because of his style, because they hadn't seen it. Now they're becoming frustrated with his opponents when they won't engage.
The rear leg kick, the rear tie kick, is a long-range, slow weapon at range. You guys can see it. He's throwing it from way out. That's why he's having trouble ending with that kick. And I agree with you completely. He needs to work the lead leg, lead hand, get something else going.
The jump knee.
Trying to catch him coming in.
And Gonzalez makes it through round 1. On tonight, Fedor Emelianenko officially joins the Bellator roster. Don't forget about the top free agent this year, Rory McDonald. Is he the #1 contender for Douglas Lima's world title now that Lima has regained it? Andrei Korshkov will want a rematch, and of course the winner of this one will be right up there in line.
I would argue 170 welterweight is next year's division.
All day, Brennan Ward.
Ward looked good a couple weeks ago, didn't he?
Brutal.
And 2 weeks from now on Spike, Andre Fierlu. Remember that name, an undefeated, powerful 170.
Paige using the lead hand instead of the foot. Getting a little more brave, getting into the boxing range.
He's going to have to. He's going to have to do something. I can remember how mad Dana White used to get at Anderson Silva and say, look, if you're so much better than these guys, why are you taunting them? Go out and put them away. And Anderson say, but I'm not. This is how I'm trying to set the guys up, but the guys aren't falling for it. Over time, they're so scared. They're just 2 or 3 inches out of range. And that is happening to MVP tonight. Now, Fernando has got to get in there. I mean, I can say it all night long, but until it changes, I'm going to have to say it all night long. It's got to come forward. It's got to close the distance. This outside leg kick through the body just simply isn't going to get this done. He needs to come forward, punch his way into the clinch. I know his head coach, Dan Henderson, better than anybody, and I know that's what Dan Henderson has been working on him with.
So why, in your estimation, has he not done it?
I'm not positive he's seen the angle that he wanted tonight. I'm not positive that he didn't come in there, see a couple of those kicks from MVP and think, you know, let me move around and slow this guy down a little bit. MVP, the one time Gonzalez did come in for a shot, did throw that knee. Obviously, if you're a human that follows this sport, that's on your mind. In fairness, guys, the 3 of us are sitting here thinking about it. Imagine being in the ring with him as Fernando is. You're going to be thinking about that knee. But we can avoid it. Don't change elevation. Come in with a high posture, punch your way in, and look to get to a collar tie or a 50-50 tie.
Question is what Fernando Gonzalez can force out of MVP, because he's waiting for the look he likes. He might be waiting for 16 minutes, and that's too long. What can he force out of MVP? Right now, he hasn't found a way in.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And again, I get why he's circling, trying to stay away from the power. That big knee that everybody's talking about. MVP needs Fernando to come straight in to be able to land that knee. So if you circle, you can protect yourself from that. But at the same time, there is ways to gain ground.
A slip. MVP took a quick left from Fernando Gonzalez.
He can gain ground even by circling. He just needs to do it with a little bit of a forward motion. An inch here and an inch there, and before you know it, he's clenched.
The only fighter to go the distance with MVP was the Sean Burrell, who just kind of rushed in and closed distance, kept him against the fence. It was an awkward fight, but he never found his own offense.
It's the only time he's ever been to the 3rd round. This is already about to become the 2nd longest fight of MVP's career. MVP taunting, daring, he's turned his back.
You almost feel like Fernando Gonzalez is watching the fight just like we are. That he's seeing it, he's not in it.
We'd like to hit slow-mo on the DVR, though.
Yeah, and MVP, you know, in fairness, we keep talking about Fernando and what he needs to do, but MVP needs to cut the ring off. He needs to pressure him and cut the ring off. He's not doing any better at closing this distance, and he is the one with the reach advantage. If anybody should be responsible for closing the distance, it is MVP. He's got to find a way to cut him off and get him within range. He could be winning this contest on entertainment alone, but frankly, he hadn't done a whole lot either.
Yeah, he's pecked with the jab, pecked with the lead kick. He's outlanded Gonzalez, but yeah, hasn't done any damage. Yeah, we've seen that a few times.
One of the hardest shots of the fight, in fairness. Point being, not a lot's happened.
Yeah. If you think he's going to change what he's doing, forget it. Fernando Gonzalez has to find a way around it. He's content to hunt and peck and jab and win rounds. He'll win that way. Fernando Gonzalez has to change it.
Sure. Sticks him with another jab. Barely misses with the cross. But in a round where you've only had 4 or 5 effective strikes, and they're all for MVP, that matters.
I mean, one good combination by Fernando Gonzalez, especially when it hurts him, could turn around the whole round and the whole fight. That just hasn't happened.
Hasn't gotten close. The only time he got close was when MVP slipped. A jump knee and another strong finish. The message to MVP in his corner: this is our fight. Don't change what you're doing because you're going to get frustrated. MVP is a guy that hears the crowd. He wants to please the crowd.
Mentally, as a fighter is, I lost because I didn't do enough. I could have done more and I didn't. Fernando Gonzalez doesn't want to leave with that feeling tonight.
That's right. Now things are about to get interesting. I do believe Gonzalez is down 2 rounds to 1, but we still would like to see what happens if they clinch up and go to the ground. Let's at least get that question answered.
This is what Sean Burrell did.
Remember, he didn't win in rounds. He just didn't do enough with this positioning.
MVP with excellent defense here. Gonzalez has got to get his hands locked if he wants to try to use a wrestling technique and drag him to the ground. MVP keeping his elbow in now. Gonzalez has his hands locked. The question is, can he step his left leg in between and get him down? Looks like MVP has broke his lock, so now they got to start over. Gonzalez must get his hands locked to have success here. Great job by MVP. Getting his hips off and getting off the fence. If I'm Gonzalez, I go right back to that position.
Remember, against Curtis Millender, Fernando Gonzalez, a tall, rangy fighter, was down and won it with a late guillotine. He does have that comeback ability, but I believe it's on the ground more than on the feet in this fight.
I like what Fernando's doing here. Fernando is now finally pressuring forward. He's making Paige back up. Paige still has options there. That flying knee, of course, one of them, but his options are limited moving backwards. Fernando can pin him if he can cut off the ring here. He can push him back on the fence and start to work that clinch position, trying to set up a takedown.
But both of those punches, you saw when he had him backing up, he was in the southpaw stance. Both of those punches from the power side. He's not using his lead hand enough, in my opinion, to get MVP where he wants him.
Yeah, he needs to get that respect of MVP, and MVP knows there's not enough power on that lead or that jab hand.
But if he had taken this approach from the start of the fight, the judges might be looking at it differently.
Different fight.
Gonzalez far more effective cutting off the cage down.
Herzog ain't having it.
Listen, he's seeing the same thing we've been talking about, gentlemen, for the last 12 minutes. And MVP's hands aren't clean in this either. He's got to find a way to close the distance. He can't just move. At some point, he's got to go forward, or if his opponent backs up, he's got to cut off the ring.
Let me put this another way. You want to be a contender. Douglas Lima isn't watching this in fear right now. He's not, and you want to send a message to the next guy you fight with every performance.
That's right.
Not that I think Douglas Lima fears a lot of guys, but you know what I mean.
Sure, I know what you mean. Guys see opportunity.
Yep.
MVP lost the first round of his career in round 1 to Cyborg. This might be the second, but will it be enough? We are closing in on the battle for the lightweight world title, years in the making between Michael Chandler and Ben Henderson.
Now Fernando Gonzalez is moving forward with confidence. He doesn't believe MVP can hurt him at this point. You can tell by his body language. He's willing to walk through the fire, like we said in round 1. Problem is, it's a little late.
Now watch the hips of MVP here. You can tell he's been practicing on the wall. He keeps those hips back.
That's great defense right there.
Tries to stop Fernando from locking his hands, whether he's using that underhook or just getting an elbow inside. Now Fernando's got his hands locked, so MVP needs to sit back, try to break the lock by dropping his hips and putting his weight into the cage. He's doing this very, very well. He's using his height, and this is a skill that he's going to need, whether it's against Lima, Bamba, whoever his next opponent is, and you can tell that MVP has worked on this position. Very impressively, Fernando Gonzalez is very tough in this clinch position. MVP isn't doing a lot here, but he doesn't need to. This isn't his skill set. He's just stopping the action from going down. He's completely countering, but he is countering successfully.
Great natural balance this guy has. You can see it.
crowd didn't love it, and you have to wonder if this goes the way we think it will. Why did Fernando Gonzalez wait so long to become so aggressive?
Ladies and gentlemen, having gone the distance, we'll go to your 3 judges at cage side. Your first judge, Michael Bell, scores the fight 29-28. He scores it for Paige. Your second judge, Michael Gincona, scores the fight 30-27, scoring it for Gonzalez. Your third and final judge at cage side, Ron McCarthy, scores the fight 29-28, seeing it for the winner by split decision and still undefeated MVP, Michael Venom Paige.
Let's go to the tail of the tape for this welterweight match, our co-main event.
Look at those records, 12-0, 19-4. That's telling you both of these guys are outstanding fighters.
Here's Michael C. Williams.
Bellator MMA from SE Arena in Wembley now. Feature tonight's Bellator 200 co-main event. 3 5-minute rounds in the welterweight division. And now on Paramount Network and 5 Spike here in the UK, we introduce the blue corner first. At 6 foot, weighing in 170.5 pounds, the former Bellator World Title challenger tonight stands with 19 professional victories, 4 defeats. Fighting out of Derby, Kansas, USA, presenting David the Caveman Rickles. Across the cage, his adversary fighting out of the red corner at 6'3", weighing in 170.4 pounds. Returning tonight to the Bellator cage, he enters undefeated with 12 victories, no defeats. Fighting out of London, England, introducing MVP Michael Venom Paige. In charge of the action, your referee, Rob Hines.
David. Michael. All right, gentlemen. 3 rounds under the unified rules of mixed martial arts. Any questions, David? Any questions, Michael? Touch gloves if you want. Back up, we'll get it going.
London shoot fighters Michael Venom Paige. JMTK's David Rickles. See, this is Fortnite. I told you, look what's happening. Bell in round 1. And the histrionics continue. Paige's 8-fight Bellator winning streak tied for 3rd longest in company history behind AJ McKee's 11, Ben Askren's 9, and the mind games, Big John, already going on here. Lots of feinting.
You have a good movement by Rickles. He's not going backwards, he's going lateral. And that's what you have to do with MVP. You cannot sit there and go backwards. MVP, the only guy that you can match up in MMA with him is Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, because they fight very similar like.
Paige's last fight in Bellator, November 2016 at Bellator 165, split decision win over Fernando Gonzalez.
That was a fight when you had Fernando Gonzalez thinking that someone like Fernando is going to come after MVP. He decided to sit back, try to be the counter striker, and those two styles just didn't work out. It was a boring fight that MVP ended up winning.
There's the lightning quick jab from Michael Venom Paige.
But you notice where Rickles is starting to put Paige.
Oh, and Rickles gets tagged again with that jab.
Again, look at the distance and look where he's starting to put Paige. That is what Rickles can do. He's that kind of fighter. He's not going to just give
up. Wow! Right uppercut, so precise. As precise as an atomic clock is Michael Venom Paige.
And when you're looking at this, it's not so much the speed, it's the timing and his ability to change the distance when he wants.
Yeah, Paige's timing makes a metronome envious. David Rickles standing in front of him and gets tagged with a three-punch combination by Michael Venom Paige. There's another right hand that lands.
And again, look at the accuracy of what's occurring with Michael Venom Paige here, Morrow.
Wow.
Those are straight shots right where they're supposed to be.
How do you prepare for someone like Michael Venom Paige?
You know what?
Serious question.
It is a serious question, especially if you're David, because you can't find people that match what he does. There's very few people out there that do, and so it's so difficult to get prepared to fight MVP.
Of course, Anderson Silva did meet Chris Weidman, and at times the histrionics can have a way of catching up to you, but not so far for Michael Venom Paige, 12-0, including 8 wins in Bellator.
You know, the whole thing with Anderson Silva, Anderson was more of a Muay Thai style fighter.
Wow,
spinning
heel kick by Paige that Rickles is saying no, 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 which usually means okay, yes. All right, we are watching a human video game in the form of Michael Venom Paige.
You are, and look, see, notice again, notice the control of the distance. Rickles is doing things right, and he's coming after him, and he's throwing good offensive techniques, and they're just missing by inches. And that's what Michael Venom Paige can do to you, and he can frustrate you.
Okay. Michael Venom Paige, all about putting on a show, wants to entertain, fell in love with salsa dancing, capoeira, all about body movement, and it is beginning to fluster, discombobulate David Rickles, and that I'm sure is part of Michael Paige's plan.
It always is. You want to get into your opponent's head. You want to make them guess. You want to make them feel confused, because that's going to lead to you being victorious.
One of those shots by Paige has already forced caused a leaky fall. And Rickles gets tagged by the right hand. Another right uppercut. Rickles back on his feet.
He's on his feet, but he is hurt. And this is where you look at Michael Venom Paige, you go, all right, you're just different, because he just sits there and waits. He lets the guy get up, doesn't attack him, doesn't go after him. It's like, I want to play with you, and that's scary.
He is toying with David Rickles like a predator with his prey, and now even talking to David Rickles. But the caveman, a Bellator staple, he will stay in the fight as long as he can, but man, this is unbelievable.
Well, there was a lot of talk by Dave Rickles. He's going to take his heart.
Well,
and you know, those things that sometimes they come back to bite you. I like the fact that Dave's saying, I'm not afraid of you, but you got to give respect where it's due.
Another 1-2 combination that scores. It is Michael Venom Paige's world in the first round, and we are all just visitors. Wow! Michael Paige has him in the palm of his hands. And he's about to try to give more hands to David Caveman Rickles here as we begin round 2. How does David Rickles even begin to try to solve this?
It's so difficult, and it's so frustrating for David Rickles, because he's doing the things right. It's just that he hasn't dealt with someone that's as good at controlling that distance and understanding when to explode the top.
Oh, wow, lead right hand that clocks David Rickles. And that just, Rickles' face exploded much, and the referee, it's over, much like the knee to Cyborg.
He's giving up.
He's giving up.
I don't know what he's doing. He's giving up.
Referee, he's giving up. It's over. Michael Venom Paige, 13-0. And all I can say is Mamma Mia.
Ladies and gentlemen, inside the Bellator cage, the verbal submission comes at 43 seconds into round number 2. The winner by TKO, MVP Michael Venom Paige.
A maestro at work. Let's go to Big John McCarthy.
Keep that thing away from me. You are so explosive. You cover distance so fast, and you frustrate guys to no degree of frustration. You just made a guy who is a complete fighter, a tough guy, say, I cannot stay in here with this man. How are you feeling?
London! The one and only MVP is back! Sorry guys, I would like to just dedicate this fight to Helena Ramsey. I know a lot of people heard about the Florida shooting. My little cousin unfortunately died out there and got hit with a bullet, so I just want to dedicate this win to her. I love you, I love the Ramsey family, love everyone. And I've got an amazing team. The London Shoot Fighters, I'm saying to anybody now, any kind of sparring you want, come to London Shoot, we're always ready.
You put on an incredible display tonight. That is the best performance even out of everything that I've ever done inside this cage with you. You look more in control in this fight than I've ever seen you.
You know what? This is the sharpest I felt. Seriously, I went through a hellish training camp back to back to back because I was training for a fight that never happened. And you know, 18 months later, I'm here in the best crowd in the world, man. In front of the best crowd. You guys are support me to the end. London, I love you.
How tough was it to come in front of your crowd, your fan base? Did you feel extra pressure here tonight because of it?
No, these guys give me energy. I can never feel pressure in front of you guys. You guys give me energy. These lights, Bellator, this cage, this is my home. Are you crazy? I'll never feel pressure.
Then tell me, what do you want next for Michael Venom Paige?
Just let me click my fingers. I'm taking over everybody. Everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winner, Michael Venom Paige.
I think Thanos should be afraid of Michael Venom Paige. For the main event, another opening round contest in the Welterweight World Grand Prix, the biggest grudge match in Bellator MMA history.
Obviously undefeated with Michael Paige, but that's a ton of experience with Paul Daly. It is that height. It can cause problems because he's long and he uses it.
Fighters to the center, please. Come out to the center. All right, gentlemen, this is 5 rounds under the unified rules of mixed martial arts. We went over those in the back. I want a good, clean fight. If you'd like, touch gloves now. Come out swinging. Good luck to you.
Yeah, like that's gonna happen. 5-minute rounds possible in this opening round contest in the Welterweight World Grand Prix. The time for talking is over.
You ready to fight? You ready to fight? Let's go!
The bell in round 1. Michael Venom Paige undefeated in the red gloves. Paul Semtex Daly in the blue gloves. And John Daly did work with members of the National Karate Squad trying to get a feel of the techniques, the type of point fighting, as he calls it, that he could see. But again, MMA, a completely different animal. And Michael Paige will tell you everything in the cage is a tell.
Everything is a tell in the cage, and it's right now what you're seeing out of Paul Daly is, look, he's trying to say, look, I'm not going to fall into your traps. I'm not going to fall into your game. I'm going to make you actually come to me, because the guys that start to fall into the traps that Michael Paige sets are guys that come forward and become aggressive. And you can see that Paul Daly is trying to take his time. He's trying to keep his composure, and that is a big part of this fight.
Daly owns a lethal left hook.
That's where I'm saying, look, Paul Daly doesn't need to win the minutes of this fight. It doesn't matter if he loses the first 4 rounds. He has the ability with his power to end this fight on 1 shot.
The winner of this fight will face former 2-time Bellator welterweight champion Douglas Lima in the semifinals. The other side of the bracket, Bellator welterweight champion Rory McDonald defending his title in the opening round of the tournament against John Fitch, the winner will face Neiman Gracie in the other semifinals.
You take a look at it. If you're sitting in Neiman Gracie's position, you're going, it doesn't matter. My next fight is a title fight. Whoever wins between Rory or John, he gets a shot at that title. That's a nice place to be.
What do you look for early in this fight, John? As we can see, Michael Paige owning the center of the cage. Daly just looking for an opening, but what are you looking for?
Well, this is actually what I thought we would see if Paul Daly did not get frustrated, did not lose his composure, and just took his time and said, you know what, I'm not going to play your game. That is a hard thing to do, because when you become used to doing something, it's hard to get yourself out of it. Paul he's running on the outside. He's just trying to compose, trying to actually frustrate Venom Paige. Is he going to be able to do it?
Two striking machines, but a clash of striking styles, and Paige now switching stances. Paige would love to snake charm, as they say, Paul Daly, the man known as MVP and Venom.
One of the things we talked about, are we going to see a takedown? Do you think that possibly Paul Daly will try a takedown on Paige? I can tell you, I've been in there with Paige when he's won by submission. His ground game is a lot better than people understand or give him credit for.
3 of his 13 victories have come via submission.
And about right now, somewhere in here, your referee should come in and start saying, hey, I need you to start fighting.
Is that what they're supposed to do tonight, John?
Well, that is exactly what they're supposed to be in here doing.
A minute and a half left in the first round.
And I talked about Paul doesn't have to win the rounds, but if you don't throw any punches and you throw no kicks, I guarantee you're not going to win any.
It goes for Michael Venom Paige.
Well, at least Paige has thrown a couple of kicks that have touched.
A minute left in the first round. The crowd here at Mohegan Sun sold out, already restless. They want to see contact. They want to see the fireworks that were promised.
And again, if Paige comes into your wheelhouse, he comes into that range, if you're Paul, you have to start to counter those shots to make him have to slow down what he's going to do.
Jab from Paige. Daly on his bicycle trying to avoid Paige, but going left to right now. Stutter steps forward, but doesn't throw anything. There's a leg kick by Paige. An uneventful opening 5 minutes here in this welterweight Grand Prix, but Paige comes forward. Bell in round 2. Big John, you own the unofficial scorecard. How do you have it after the first 5 minutes?
You can't win a round if you don't throw a punch. That one goes 10-9 to Michael Venom Paige.
Paige busy feinting to begin the second stanza. Daly backing up along the fence, moving to his right. Has that right hand cocked. And Paige up, doing what Michael Venom Paige does. Paige utilizing the reach advantage there. Blinding Daly momentarily with the jab, but just a single shot. And Daly yet to uncork anything of significance. Oh! Kick to the face by Paige!
But this is what Michael Paige is so good at doing, a la Conor McGregor. It's the control of the distance, the ability to stay in front of your opponent, and when your opponent comes forward, you're out of there. They can't get to you, but you can decide when you want to come in and be offensive and explode.
Paige saying that movement and speed are his top attributes, followed by his accuracy, agility, striking, and confidence, but Above all else, he says it's all about showmanship.
Well, there's the aggression that we thought we would end up seeing if the fight got to the point where Paul would get frustrated. He would start to be aggressive. He was. And we said, is he going to try for a takedown? And you could see Paul Daly, the guy that says people should stand and fight, he's actually working towards a takedown on Michael Paige.
He made that loud and clear in the fight against Fish when he was doing his own running commentary. 3 minutes left here in the second. Daly looking for that takedown. Paige defending it thus far.
And you look at the build of Michael Paige. The one thing I will tell you, he looks thin, but he's got a lot of leverage strength. He is hard to move when he clamps down on the arch. When he gets the underhook, he's a very strong man.
Paige pummeling for that underhook, has it, over under. Daly, and now Paige looking for separation, gets it.
At least we're seeing Paul Daly not sticking to that fence, so he's starting to move out of the game plan that he had decided he was going to go with. He's now coming towards the middle of this cage, and hopefully we're going to start to see a little bit more of the exchange between Paul Daly and Michael Paige.
And again, Daly looks for the takedown, gets it, even though it was a long-range shot.
You know, we saw when Michael Venom Paige fought Cyborg Santos, Santos being a black belt in jiu-jitsu, he did get Paige to the ground, but he was unable to do anything with him. He was unable to do any damage there, and he almost got put in a knee bar by Michael Paige.
Now, Daly has had 2 opponents tap out due to strikes, but has not recorded a submission of any other variety.
Well, he's not a submission fighter, and it's funny that if he's fighting a wrestler, it's not right that the wrestler takes him down, but now that he's fighting Venom Paige, I think I'm going to employ that wrestling stuff.
Body shot by Daly, goes upstairs with a short right hand, has control of both of Paige's legs.
You know, and a lot of people are not going to like, they're going to say, you know, oh, I don't like this, it's slow. This is actually a smart game plan by Paul Daly. Let me get you to the ground. Let me try to wear you down. Let me try to hit you with shots that slow you down. And then when we get to the stand-up, I'm going to put you out.
Slashing elbow strike by Daly. Final 45 seconds of the second round, scheduled for 5 5-minute rounds in this opening round of the Welterweight World Grand Prix.
And what you're seeing with what Paul's doing, he's pinching those legs together. That's a great job. Michael needs to get his leg out, get that knee to the ground, and start to swing his body up, utilizing the fence as a pressure point to get him back up.
Daly continues to keep Michael Paige on the ground, and all Paige is trying to do is neutralize Daly, maybe hope that the referee will stand them up, but final 10 seconds of the round, and now they're up, and Daly with the striking exchange. Paige off balance, and Daly more aggressive here at the end of round 2.
Smart move by Daly.
Third round.
Round 3. Michael Venom Paige in the red gloves, Paul Semtex Daly in the blue gloves, and there was a close shave.
Boy, he almost hit him with that hook kick. Nice right hand
cross
long
there by Paige. Paige sticks the jab, but Daly continues to come forward, and then Paige feinting with that knee attack.
And this is what we're talking about. How long could Paul Daly stay in that position of not attacking? He's an attack style fighter. That's what he does. And he's coming back into being exactly who Paul Daly is.
Paige showing Daly different looks in terms of a potential attack, but nothing coming to fruition except for the jab. Paige trying to bait Daly in. Looking for that counter, instead leads with a right hand that scores for Paige.
That was a beautiful straight right hand, right down the pipe, landing exactly where he wanted it to be.
Small steps forward, but not throwing a punch until he just threw the right hand that missed.
And that's what I'm talking about, that control of the distance, the ability to move his body. Right when his opponent goes to attack, he's out.
Daly looking for another takedown attempt. This one stuffed by Paige, but Daly tenacious.
Nice knee inside by Daly. He's not going to get a takedown by having an underhook and that one-arm control. But at least if you're in that position, start doing exactly what he's doing. Start to soften him up with those knees inside. Good job of use of the leg to free that hand that Paige was controlling.
Paige has Daly along the fence, would like to create some separation and perhaps deliver some knees. Now has the underhook. Oh, Daly with a takedown again. Paul Daly flipping the script. What do you make of Michael Paige in this round?
Right now, Michael Paige, even though we have the takedown, he's winning the round. He's landed the better shots in this round, and we'll see what happens from here. If Paul Daly can open up and land big strikes or put Venom Paige in a submission possibility, he can take the round. But by grappling on top, that doesn't mean you're winning. Sitting against the cage, Michael needs to start to swing his leg through to get himself back to a standing position, and he's not doing that. He's allowing Paul Daly to control the position, and that's not going to work for him.
Under a minute remaining in the third round. Finally, Paige, well, it looked like he was trying to post, and smart veteran move there by Daly, hand grappling, controlling the right hand momentarily. But Daly just on top of Paige.
That's what I want to see from Paul Daly.
Another left hand by Paul Daly.
Left hand.
Daly opening up on Paige. 30 seconds left here in the third round.
Separation is going to give him the ability to create energy, which is going to put power on those shots.
Another left hand by Daly. Paige back to his feet. Some separation here, but he got put up by Daly, but a better round for Paul Semtex Daly here as we go to round number 4.
Stop! Clean break. Four bounce.
The bell in round number 4, scheduled for 5. Opening round of the Welterweight World Grand Prix. Lead right hand lands for Paige. Paige needs to, well, we need a definite uptick in the offense from both fighters.
You know what? I'm going to tell you, I've been very impressed with Paul Daly and what he's done. This is not the normal Paul Daly we get, but this is a smart Paul Daly, and I like what I'm seeing out of him. He's utilizing all the tools that are available to him for MMA.
Paige landing a right hand to the body, but just single shots. Overhand right lands for Paige. And now Daly again looking for the takedown, sprawl by Paige.
Yeah, well, Daly's looking for the takedown now more because he got hurt by that shot. He may get it, and that's going to help him recover, but he got stunned.
So the smart game plan by Paul Daly continues to reap dividends as he again secures a takedown on Paige. Maybe not the offensive fireworks display that we anticipated, but hey, the most important thing is that you get the win, right, John?
Well, that is part of, look at, there's $1 million prize at the end of the rainbow here.
Welterweight title.
I do not blame, and I actually like what I'm seeing out of Paul Daly. This is the smartest fight I've ever seen Paul Daly fight. He's always an aggressive fighter. He's always coming to knock people out. And he decided in this fight, you know what? I need to use those other tools, and that's what he's trying to do.
What about a sense of urgency? And I know he's in the bottom position here, but Michael Paige here now. I mean, it's 3 minutes, 20 seconds left in the 4th round. How does he turn the tables?
Well, right now you're seeing Michael Paige with a closed guard. That's telling you he's actually holding on to Paul Daly, keeping him there. He needs to open that guard. He needs to start to either decide, I'm going to go after triangles, I'm going to go after some submissions, or I am going to get myself back up, put those feet on hips, start to get some separation, and get back to what is your game, and that is the stand-up.
Paige's 3 submission wins have come via armbar, rear naked choke, and Achilles lock.
You see Michael Paige trying to control wrist. That could be that he's going to try for a triangle right now, trying to drive that hand through. But right now, in that closed guard, that is not going to be any way for him to win this fight.
Let's go, guys.
Start to bring that leg up, and you see Paul Daly backing out because of it.
And Daly again looks for another takedown with a kick from Paige. Under 2 minutes left in the 4th frame. So Paul Daly having done a great job of negating the unorthodox offense of Paige. Just on the shoulder, Paige. That's a knee and another knee.
Paige needs to separate. He got hurt off of that knee, Morrow.
So spoke too soon. Daly had done a good job of negating the unorthodox offense, and then Paige springs a knee. Under 90 seconds left in the 4th round.
Now you see Venom trying to bring Paige down. Now he's in the top position. What does he do from here? We've seen him in the past. He opens up with big elbows. He has the ability to do the same right now.
Under a minute left in the 4th round. Michael Venom Paige has dominant position on Daly. Plants a couple of left hands to Daly's face. Short hammer fist by Paige. Daly trying desperately to scramble. Being pinned to the canvas here by Michael Venom Paige. And we are now in the final 30 seconds of the round.
Paul's trying to control that hand. You see Paige using his shoulder to create pressure to drive him back towards the fence. You look at the shots that have landed in this round, there's a big difference, and that's going to give the round to Venom Paige.
5th and final round of this opening round matchup of the Welterweight World Grand Prix is coming up.
5th and final.
The bell, the 5th and final round for a spot in the semifinals of the Welterweight World Grand Prix. Michael Venom Paige in the red gloves, Paul Daly in the blue gloves. And here we have an offensive start, but again, Daly with the takedown, the story of the fight.
Nice reversal of that position because Venom Paige was getting Daly down. He kept that underhook and whipped him over. Nice takedown for Paul Daly.
Watch it run.
Daly dropping the left hand that misses, and now Paige going to try to control Daly's hands from the open guard. Already a minute elapsed here in the 5th and final round.
Getting those legs high on him, getting up into the triangle position. You see him starting to work with Paul, bringing it back down. Good work by Paul Daly to reverse what Venom Paige was trying to do with those legs. has had a very hard time with the wrist control that Venom Paige, which is telling you the size of Paige's hands, he's able to wrap around those wrists, and it's very hard for Paul Daly to break free of that.
Hammer fist from Daly. Misses with the right, connects with the left, and Michael Paige, though, no real explosive attempt to get away from the cage, get back on his feet.
No, and he needs to look for a moment that he says, you know, now's my time. I'm going to get, you see his feet starting to move towards that cage. That's telling you he's looking towards getting up. That bottom leg, you're seeing, look at Daly's arm. He's going to reach towards that leg as he starts to stand up to keep him off. Look at that backhand on the ankle, but Paige gets himself up to a standing position.
2.5 minutes left in the fight.
Crossing your legs here, that's not going to be good for Venom Paige. He needs to keep those legs splayed out, control those wrists, start to move himself off the fence.
Paige was controlling Daly's left hand. Daly looking for that high crotch, looking to take Paige down again. And now Paige looking to get Daly's back, and Paige has that rear naked choke.
Swing right through. He has the ability to make this work. He's got
Under 2
1
minutes left in the fight, and no. Paige with a attempt at a rear naked choke.
This is the same position Paul Daly ended up with John Fitch and could not get away. Let's see if he can get away from Venom Paige right now.
Time continues to tick away. 1:40 left in the fight. A huge opportunity here for Michael Paige to make hay, as they say it again. Looking for that rear naked choke, needs to get his hooks in. Daly, meanwhile, gets up to his feet.
He's got the one hook. He needs to be very careful of getting too high since he's slippery from all that sweat.
Daly has been submitted 6 times in his career, 3 times via rear naked choke.
You can see Paul Daly's got that leg post and he's looking towards getting up.
Elbows delivered by Michael Paige. Under 1 minute left in the fight.
Venom Paige is trying to look, he's looking, waiting to get that second hook in there. He just lost his other hook. This is the time for Daly to stand up.
And he does just that. Paige has him pinned along the fence.
2 strikers come all the way from England, and we have a huge grappling match for almost 5 rounds.
Is there still time for an offensive outburst? The best of enemies in this opening round of the Welterweight World Grand Prix. Paige on top of Daly, but Paige has to rain down the fury of Hades here. 10 seconds left. And we are going to the judges' scorecards to determine who goes to the semifinals in the Welterweight World Grand Prix.
Ladies and gentlemen, having gone the distance, we'll go to your 3 judges at cage side. All 3 judges, Sal D'Amato, Brian Miner, Eric Colon. All 3 judged it exactly the same, 48-47 for the winner by unanimous decision. Now advancing in the Welterweight World Grand Prix, MVP Michael Venom Paige.
Here is the tail of the tape, 14-1 now, Michael Venom Paige. Look at the gap in experience. Kylie, 3 years his senior, big gap in height as well. Michael Venom Paige has everything in his favor and a 6-inch reach advantage too, John.
The height and the reach is going to play the factor, and the clinch is going to play the factor on the distance and the range when it comes to the striking. Also, there's not a stat here that says speed, but I'm going to give that to Michael Venom Paige also.
Yeah, we could add that one. Well, quickly, we should get to RMC. Terry Cannon.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the co-main event of the evening. 3 rounds in a welterweight contest. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. He stands 5 feet 11 inches tall and weighing in officially at 171 pounds. He brings to the cage a professional record of 3 wins and 1 loss. From Tala, Dublin, please welcome Richard Killeen, the And introducing his opponent across the ring in the red corner. He stands 6 feet 3 inches tall and officially weighed in at 170.6 pounds. He brings to the cage a professional record of 14 wins and 1 loss. All the way from London, England, please welcome MVP Michael Venom Paige. Your referee over the action, Mr. Dan Mergliotta.
Okay, guys, been through the rules in the locker room. I want you to obey my commands at all times. I want you to protect yourselves at all times. You must show respect to each other. You want to touch gloves, do it now. If not, go to your corner. Go back, let's go.
Don't worry, they won't be touching gloves. Michael Venom Paige. He needs an introduction, and he will if you're new to this sport, with those red gloves. And Richard Killeen, who has made so much noise to get this chance, called MVP out time and again, and MVP has responded to the challenge. Can he overcome it as quickly as some feel he might? Straight away you can see that speed as MVP throws jabs to the body and then a left hook that misses.
Everyone has an answer for MVP when they're not in the cage with him. As soon as they get in there, all those answers have changed.
That little smile playing across his lips as well. Right hand from MVP, timed Killeen really well there. Kylie's got to keep moving. Can't be a stationary target here. Look at this, he's just taunting him. Warning there for the referee. Speed is just blurring from Michael Venom Paige. Always likes that play acting, the showmanship to go with the serious danger in there.
Like I said, there's no threat from the bottom from Killeen. So MVP, all he has to worry about is that up kick. There's nothing to worry about in the submission department right now. He can just pick and choose his shots from there. There's that up kick. Nice little shot through the guard.
That's what he does so well, isn't it? He does pick those shots. He thinks about it. Great thinker to go with the obvious violence. Those punishing elbows there, they are finding a way through. Yeah, he's seen enough, he doesn't like it. Point off MVP. Doesn't like it. Feels it went over the line, lack of respect. What do you think about that?
I like the ref a lot. I've worked them several times. I think sometimes you're just gonna let the fighters do their thing. There's a lot of emotions that build up to fights and make good fights. And they're just sitting there being showmen. This is the entertainment business. I'm gonna probably when I get home hear from Big John what he thinks.
I was just gonna say, yeah. Big John will have an opinion about that. Oh, big knee from Michael Venom Paige! Wins him brilliantly! The fight that Killeen felt he could win. MVP with the message that he is back!
What a knee! Unbelievable knee!
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Dan Mergliotta calls a stop to the action at the official time of 2 minutes and 47 seconds. of round number 1, declaring your winner by knockout, MVP Michael Venom Page.
Superstar quality, and here he is with Josh.
Ladies and gentlemen, here with the winner, Michael Venom Page. Did the taking of the 1 point have something to do with the way you came after him right after that?
I was a bit frustrated with the whole thing. I don't even want to talk about that. What I do want to talk about is Dublin! I am so excited. I wish I could have done some more for you guys. I'm so excited to be here. You guys are amazing. They know me as MVP, Michael Venom Page. But when I'm here, I'm M.I.P. Michael Irish Page.
So I want you to kind of walk us through the highlight of the flying knee. Did you see something that he was doing that helped set that up?
Yeah, he kept ducking his head. It was an obvious shot. You know what? This is exactly what I expected. I hardly even trained for the guy. I've been on holiday. I've been buying properties. Now it's time to go and fight in the UK, my hometown. And you know what? I want all you Irish fans to come down, man. Show up, show love, please.
You're back on the winning track now with this win. Who would you like to fight next?
I don't care. I'm chasing one person. One person and one person only. He's fighting next month. He threw me off track. He gave me that, he took that O away from me. Douglas Lima, I have so much respect for you, but I'm coming back.
So time now for the tail of the tape ahead of our main event. Giovanni Melillo, a couple of years older. Look at that height advantage that MVP has with those long levers. Look at that reach advantage as well. Joshy has every advantage here.
Yeah, I mean, he's 2 years younger, better record. I mean, long reach. I mean, everywhere around, he's physically, I think, the better fighter.
Time that we got to our MC for the main event. It is, of course, Terry Kavanagh.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to that time. This is the main event of the evening. 3 rounds in a welterweight contest. This contest is sanctioned by the Mohican Tribe Department of Athletic Regulation. Our chairman of the tribe, James Gessner, and supervising cage side, Mike Mazzulli. And now, ladies and gentlemen, to those of you watching on Channel 5, and to you in attendance in the SSE Wembley, ladies and gentlemen, it's about to go down! If you are ready to see some action, make some noise! Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. He stands 5 feet 11 inches tall and officially weighed in at 170.8 pounds. He brings to the cage a professional record of 13 wins, 4 losses. From Bari, Italy, please welcome Giovanni the Punisher Melillo. And introducing his opponent across the cage in the red corner. He stands at 6 feet 3 inches tall and officially weighed in at 170 pounds. He brings to the cage a professional record of 15 wins and 1 loss. From London, England, please welcome MVP Michael Venom Page. Your referee in charge of the action, Mr. Kevin McDonald.
Fighters to the center, please. Gentlemen, 3 rounds under the unified rules of mixed martial arts. We went over those in the back. If you'd like, touch gloves now. Return to your corners. Good luck.
You can hear the chants of MVP around cage side and beyond. He's making a big noise in this sport and in this city. Remember, a win tonight, and he is second on his own behind Lima and Patricky Pitbull for the most knockouts in Bellator. There's that characteristic style already.
Danilo said he's going to figure it out when he gets in there.
Got plenty to figure out here, Josh.
The speed and the range has already been a problem.
Always thinking Michael Venom Paige, always trying to find a way. Prodding out that left jab. Trying to measure Melilo here. Outside leg kick from Michael Venom Paige.
Melilo's making a big mistake. You can't wait for him. You cannot wait for MVP. This is what I was afraid of him trying to figure him out while he's in there. You've got to still play your game. You can't wait on MVP. He's too fast, he's too long, as you're seeing right there.
Did measure that right hand beautifully.
You got to demand your respect right off the bat.
Otherwise, it is just the MVP show. He can just dominate, and that's exactly what he's doing.
It's been the MVP show since he came to Bellator. It's been the MVP show. Him and Jimmy are going to have to fight for the name, the rights.
Whose show is it?
MVP right hand all over. He is long-levered and lethal. Just brilliant from MVP, and tonight he owns this town.
My point is you cannot figure out MVP in one round of a fight.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Kevin MacDonald calls a stop to the action at the official time of 1 minute 47 seconds of round number 1, declaring your winner by knockouts, MVP Michael Venom Paige.
They're going to be singing his name, singing those 3 letters for some time, and we'll hear from Michael Venom Paige after a short break. See you in a moment.
I'm here, ladies and gentlemen, with your winner, Michael Venom Paige. Let's talk real quick. I don't know how many walk-off knockouts you have. I don't think they're on all 10 of my fingers here. But look, another great dominant performance tonight. We were in Ireland just recently. You had another walk-off. You had the crowd chanting your name there. How good does it feel to get a win here, though, in London?
Oh, this is where my home is, man. London, I love you guys. I'm looking in the crowd. I see family. I see friends. Man, I see all my supporters, my brothers. You know what? I love you guys all. Trust.
So with the change of opponent at the last minute, how did that affect what your mindset was coming in? This is one of those got-you fights. Obviously, it didn't affect your performance, but through your mindset, what was it like this week?
I'm the one and only MVP. It doesn't matter who steps in the cage.
So what I want you to do is take a look at the big screen here. Walk us through this knockout for me, please.
Click. click, boom.
Realistic, it was the feints, the in and the out that kind of threw him off. When I had talked to him in the fighter meetings, he said, when I get in there, I'm going to figure him out. And I just shook my head thinking to myself, MVP's not the guy you want to figure out in there. And you showed tonight that performance. Look, there's one blemish on your record against Douglas Lima, who's the greatest welterweight in the world right now. What are we doing?
Who wants to see me fight Douglas Lima again? There's your answer. I don't want anybody else. I'm looking for one person. He has the belt. I have a lot of respect for him, but I'm going to take something back that you stole from me.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winner, Michael Venom Paige.
Our tail of the tape for this contracted matchup at 173 pounds. Look at those records, John. 16-1, 11-3.
Outstanding records on both, but look at that 8-inch reach advantage. Paige is taller, he's longer. Anzai's got to get through to a lot of danger to be successful.
A lot of danger and a lot of venom, and here's Michael C. Williams.
Now features 3 5-minute rounds at a contracted weight of 173 pounds. And now first introducing the blue corner at 5'8", weighing in 172.9 pounds. He makes his professional Bellator debut tonight with 11 victories, 3 defeats, fighting out of Saitama, Japan, presenting Shinsho Enema Anzai. And across the cage, his adversary, fighting out of the red corner at 6'3", weighing in 172 pounds even, near perfect as a professional, 16 victories, 1 defeat, fighting out of London, England, introducing MVP Michael Venom Paige. And the referee in charge, Jason Herzog.
Jason Herzog, our referee. This fight contracted at 173 pounds. Anzai and Paige. Rising against Bellator. And here we go. MVP in that familiar side stance in the red gloves. Saitama zone in the blue gloves.
Well, there's no doubt Anzai wants to get inside, get Paige to the ground, and he's gonna have to do something of exactly what you just saw, those kind of mad rushes in, but he's gotta do it without being damaged, and the question is, can that be done?
Shinsho said, I am much shorter than most guys in the division, but he believes that is one of his advantages. I guess if he gets inside, you know, that's what he's talking about, but getting inside of that range and kickboxing ability of MVP is not easy at all.
Oh, beautiful knee by Venom Paige.
Moving backwards, John.
Moving backwards. As soon as he saw that head going down, came up with it. But at least by accepting that blow, Anzai is in a position to try to get Paige to the ground. And loses it.
Anzai has power.
He does have power, but so does Paige, and Paige has speed. This is the Matador versus the Bull. Anzai has got to be the Bull. He has got to crush space. He's got to make these mad rushes to get past the slick maneuvering and footwork that Michael Venom Paige brings. And no one besides Douglas Lima has been able to solve that riddle.
Bucket list for MVP, New York, Vegas, Ireland, Japan. Check one of them off. Right here, right now.
One of the things that I've always seen out of Michael Paige, and you see this stance that he has, you see his hands down. It's one of those, you know, all the things that we go, don't do that. But he does it well. But when you see Michael start to play, he is telling you, oh, I'm confident. I understand the distance. I understand what this guy can do. And I know how to move to keep him from being successful. So when you see him start to play, it's usually a problem for his opponent.
There was a guy named Anderson who did something like that.
Exactly the same thing. And it's so, oh, again with the flying knee. And what that flying knee is telling you is Michael Paige is not worried about him being taken down. I am willing to try to throw this knee, and you could try to take me down, but it's not going to be as easy as you think.
Hasn't been thus far.
I talked about the difference between Michael Paige and Anderson Silva because their careers are actually very similar in the way they came up. Michael Venom Paige actually has a better record coming up than Anderson Silva and fought actually better opponents in the beginning of his career. A lot of people complain about the opponents that he's fought. It's crazy. He has fought some good people. He's fought the champ in Lima. He's fought great fighters like Paul Daly. He is not afraid to be in the cage with anybody.
And the opportunity to fight not once, not twice, but 3 times since that battle in the tournament against Douglas Lima is huge moving into the new decade for Michael Venom Paige.
Anzai just got starched by that shot that froze him. Another one that just hit him flush. That right hand is just laser perfect in landing right on the left side of Anzai's face. See Anzai trying to close distance, trying to cut him off, trying to force him towards the cage. All smart. There he goes down. Big shot. Got a cut.
Yep. Right back up, says MVP.
And that just shows that fight IQ. Whoa! No one does that.
Something magnificent may very well happen momentarily. Right up the middle, just missed.
He has no answer for what Michael Paige is doing. He is confused. You see him coming forward, and all that forward movement is because he just doesn't know what to do. So I'm trying to crush the space fast, but he's taking heavy shots in doing that.
MVP with a little stutter step.
Remember what I said about playing? There's a knee again.
Every time, John, as he's moving backwards. Unbelievable.
Remember what I said about him playing? When he's starting to play, he's comfortable. He knows, oh, I got you. Now, that doesn't mean that Anzai cannot land a shot that can hurt him. But Anzai's in trouble here. 17 seconds left. The best thing that's happened in this round is that Michael Venom Paige has actually gotten into a grapple situation with him and is holding on to him.
That was pure artistry from MVP, and thus
that is a 10-8 round. He damaged his opponent. He dominated the action. Anzai didn't land anything in that round.
Oh, and again with the flying knee.
Look at Anzai. Anzai is a professional fighter that was the Pancrase middleweight champion, and he's starting to look like a kid in the school. It's over.
It is all over, just like that. Michael Venom Paige finishes 2019 with 3 straight knockouts.
Ladies and gentlemen, it comes to an end suddenly. 23 seconds into round number 2. The winner by knockout, MVP Michael Venom Paige.
First Larkin, now Paige. Huge stage, great performance.
I'm here with your winner, Michael Venom Paige. That was just an outstanding overall performance, showing your ability to control the range, distance, and land big shots.
とにかくマイケル・ベノン・ペイジ選手、皆さん見ていただいたと思うんですけども、この距離感のコントロール、そして全ての試合のコントロールの効いた素晴らしい勝利でした。
ジャパン! Thank you so much for having me here. This is the best arena I've ever been in front of. You guys are amazing. This is a dream come true. Thank you.
とにかく日本の皆さんありがとうございます。ここほどですね、自分のベストを尽くして、人を尽くして戦いを見せる場所、見ていただく場所としてふさわしい場所が他にないと言ってもいいと思います。もう今日は夢が叶いました。本当にありがとう。
You showed no fear in doing flying knees and going after a guy that's known for his wrestling, known for getting fights to the ground. You didn't care at all. You just went after him.
対戦相手のですね、安西選手、レスリングがバックボーンだと思うんですけども、とにかくそんなことはものともしないという戦いぶりだったと思うんですが、自分で振り返っていかがでしょうか。
I fight with one of the best team in the world, the London Shoot Fighters. We have so many like wrestlers in the gym, and I've been training really, really hard for a level like him because I knew he was going to try and take me down. I defended well, and that's why I was so confident going forward.
You contacted Scott Coker after your last fight, said, I want to be on that Japan card, and then he put you on it. What does it mean for you to be able to fight in front of these people?
まず、対戦相手、安西選手が、レスリングのバックボーンということで、とにかく自分をテイクダウンするということは読めていたんですね。ですので、それに対してたくさん対策を打ってきました。そして、私の所属するチームですけれども、グラウンドワークに非常に強い選手いっぱいいますので、その練習の成果が出たと思います。そして今回のこの試合、自分で手を挙げたんですね。立候補してぜひこのカードに入れてくれというふうに、お願いした試合です。実現して嬉しく思っていますか？
If you guys will have me back, I'm coming right back to Japan. Thank you.
日本にいつでも戻ってきます。これからも呼んでくれれば戻ってきます。ありがとう。
Japan, give it up for Michael Venom Paige.
Our tail of the tape for this, our main event of the evening. 3 years the elder of Ross Houston, who just turned 38 days ago. Big John, look at that reach advantage for Michael Venom Paige. Houston needs to get inside and do it quickly. Here's Craig Stevens.
Well, welcome back to Paris, France. Welcome back to the Accor Arena. And once again, welcome to our viewers joining us on CBS Sports Network and BBC iPlayer. This is Bellator 248, and this is the main event. 3 5-minute rounds contracted at 175 pounds. Sanctioned by the Mohegan Tribe Department of Athletic Regulation, Chairman James Gessner, Tribe Chief Lynn Malerba, President of Sports and Entertainment Tom Cantone, and Director Mr. Mike Mazzulli. At cage side are 3 judges, Jaron Valel, Doug Crosby, and Sal D'Amato. And so, ladies and gentlemen, in attendance here at cage side, and for those joining us around the world on CBS Sports Network and BBC iPlayer, the officials are ready. The fighters are ready. Are you ready for the main event? Firstly, and fighting out of the blue corner at 6'2" and weighing in at 174.8 pounds. His professional record, he is undefeated, 8-0 with 1 no contest, 3 wins coming inside the distance. The former welterweight world champion from the capital of the Scottish Highlands, fighting out of the beautiful city of Inverness, Scotland, undefeated Ross, the Hitman Houston. And standing across the Bellator cage in the red corner at 6'3" and weighing in at 174.2 pounds. His professional record, outstanding. 17 wins, only 1 defeat. 14 wins inside the distance, with 11 coming inside round number 1. Fighting out of London, England, MVP Michael Venom Paige. A referee, Mr. Todd Anderson.
Todd Anderson, the referee for this, our main event of the evening.
Gentlemen, went over the rules in the back. Protect yourself at all times, obey my commands at all times.
If you wish to touch gloves, do so now. Step back, prepare.
Michael Venom Paige. Ross Houston, born in Stafford, England. That's where he was born, went to school. Mom and dad are Scottish. Right now, they are two fighters looking for their next professional win. Here we go. Fight contracted at 175 pounds. MVP in the red gloves. Houston in the blue gloves.
It'll be very interesting right off the bat to see how much Ross Houston is just going to sit there and try to bring Paige into his game, try to actually counter the counter striker.
Which is what he told us he is going to attempt to do, at least, John, earlier in the week when we spoke to him.
But you need to be careful because you have to present problems for your opponent. If you're not presenting a problem, things can go bad quickly.
7.5-inch reach advantage could be a problem for Ross Houston because that's what MVP possesses. That side stance, light on his feet, hands down low.
Sometimes what that side stance does with those hands is, because they're low, it's hard for you to actually see that punch coming until it's a little bit too late and it hits you when you would think it would not.
And he's able to control distance and range so well, much like we talk about the veteran Lyoto Machida all the time.
I am impressed with the fact that Ross Houston right now is being very patient. He's taking his time. He's not trying to force anything because that can happen, especially your first time in the Bellator cage, coming from a different, promotion. This is your first fight here. You want to impress. You want to do well, so you make mistakes. He's being very calm, very relaxed, and that shows, that fight IQ.
Well, partner, he's staying true to his word because he said he put a lot of pressure on himself during his amateur fights, and it cost him on more than one occasion. He was too worried about what people were going to think of his performance. Just missing with that punch was MVP, and now he just fights his own fight, lets it come to him, which is what you need to do against a guy at the caliber of MVP.
Yeah, that right hand actually, that hit Ross Houston. He felt it, and you can see that he actually stopped, took a moment to just collect himself. He's trying to measure exactly where MVP is at and how he can attack with that distance. When MVP comes in to do that attack, you're seeing that Ross Houston is trying to look for that attack and counter it.
Fifth Dan kickboxing black belt, Michael Venom Paige, whose father, Curtis, was a 3-time kickboxing champion. Passed a few years ago on Boxing Day, and obviously Michael misses him dearly. Fights for his spirit every time he enters the cage.
You can see just with that kick that Ross Houston attempted, it was off by that distance is giving him problems, but this is exactly where I think he has a very good chance of winning this fight, bringing it to the ground, utilizing that good ground game that he has. Good shoulder pressure right now.
We talked about the strength that Ross Houston possesses, John.
Yeah, but right now, in the position that he's in what we call, he's in side control, but he's trapped. That head is trapped by Michael Venom Paige. He's feeling the pressure. I'm not saying it's going to put him out or anything, but he's feeling it, and it is limiting his breathing also. Paige now lets that go.
Side control for Ross Houston.
Very important timing for Ross Houston right now. This is something like trying to bring knee on belly. He needs to just maintain this control and slowly and systematically get to a position where he can do damage on Venom Paige.
You hear his corner telling him to be very heavy, put the pressure on his opponent.
Well, one of the things a lot of people go when they're watching Michael Venom Paige, they say, oh, you just take him to the ground. Well, we saw that Cyborg, a guy that Venom Paige, who is a black belt in jiu-jitsu, he did get Venom Paige to the ground and wasn't able to do anything with him there. So it's not like Michael Paige has no ground game. He knows what's going on down there.
And he left on the wrong side of the 2016 World MMA Knockout of the Year. The referee was average in that fight, by the way.
He's absolutely average.
Glad he retired.
But you can tell one of the things that's occurred here is Ross Houston's had this great position, right back to half guard. He hasn't been able to do that damage, and that is what you need to do if you get this opportunity, because you want to do something that's going to slow MVP down.
Big John, we're going to see a second round. Main event right here on CBS Sports Network. Mike Goldberg, Big John McCarthy, MMA from Paris, France, from the country of France for the very first time. Thank you to those who helped to make it happen. Thank you to Scott Coker for his persistence in becoming #1 once again and bringing the Bellator cage to Paris.
A miracle has happened, Mike. Michael Venom Paige has his hands up.
Yes.
Which means Ross Houston has gotten his attention.
You talked to me about it before, John. You said when he gets really loose and Anderson Silva-like is when he's extremely confident and doesn't feel any fear. Now his hands are in a different spot, and that is because Ross Houston made a few statements in the first 5 minutes.
Exactly, but Venom Paige did land a beautiful right hand. That stunned Ross Houston a little bit. But we are seeing a difference in the style. The joking is gone, which is telling you, this is a tell that I see in Michael Paige all the time. When he knows, hey, I'm in against a guy that this guy's good, he starts to get rid of all of that a little bit, and he starts to get a little more serious, and that's what you're seeing right now.
On your unofficial scorecard, who got round 1?
You know, it's going to be a tough round, because if you look at the ground part, Ross wasn't able to do anything. He did 0 damage down there. Now, it was not the most, you look at the time, it might be the judges going with Venom Paige. He landed the better strikes, and that took place more. But again, I could see a judge giving it to Ross Houston based upon having him on the ground, having position. But it's more about damage, not position.
Damage first, then cage control. So a very close round 1. Red gloves for 17-1, Michael Venom Paige. 13 of those wins inside the Bellator cage. Debut here in Paris for Ross Houston. 8-0-1, no contest in his professional career.
That was a well-timed entrance by Ross Houston to get inside, tried to drop levels, got inside, gets his hands locked. We'll see what he can do from here now that he's got Paige up against the cage.
Big shot.
And again, this is where people don't give Michael Paige credit. They think he's just this stand-up guy. That was a beautiful takedown by Michael Paige. He had Ross off balance, brings him down. Now he's landing good shots. Ooh. That's right to the back of the head, back of the neck. Yep. Now that is on both, because that shot is being thrown, and you see that the head is there and as it's being thrown. So intent-wise, I don't think he intended for that to be. It's just that that's what ended up being the shot that ends up landing. So you can see as Houston's moving a little bit, he's obviously throwing, but he's trying to go to the side. But as Houston moves his body to his left, that brings that head right into place with the hammer fist by MVP.
And Todd Anderson perfectly put it, be careful to the back of the head. Just, you know, stating what you just said, Big John, is that it was the movement and bad timing, if you will, for Ross Houston for that strike from MVP.
Absolutely, and what it did is, first off, he gave Houston, oh, nice shot by Paige again. Good exchange by both of them, but Paige got the best of it. But it gives Houston time to recover from it, and it takes him off of the ground. Now they're back in the stand-up, so he gets that advantage back.
We got ourselves a fight.
Well, this is the fight that I expected. Is that I felt that Michael Venom Paige would, at a certain point, say, I have to respect this guy. He's good. He's strong. He's got good striking. But you're seeing the difference in the speed. There is a difference between Venom Paige and Ross Houston in speed, and it's that length and speed that is giving Venom Paige right now the advantage in this fight.
Nice sprawl. Ross still trying to take him down.
And again, wasn't able to, which is telling you, look, MVP is becoming that all-around fighter. He is not this guy that you can just easily take down. Sweeps the leg out. Look where he's at, Mike. Riding him out. That was a beautiful statement right there, mister.
Thank you very much. That was well timed. And I liked your Paige against the cage. You're a poet, you don't even know it.
Nice movement by Ross Houston to move his hips. He's into at least a half guard now.
MVP being very careful with these strikes, wisely doing just that as Houston tries to get out of this tough position.
But this is the difference, what we saw in the first round compared to what we're seeing here. Even though Venom Paige isn't having the positional dominance that you saw with Ross Houston, now he's into at least side control. He is damaging Houston from these positions.
See some of the damage under the eye, the right eye of the hitman Ross Houston. Final 10 seconds of round number 2. This round will leave no doubt in the judges' minds. Third and final round, our main event here on CBS Sports Network. Michael Venom Paige in the red gloves, blue gloves for Ross Houston. Big round 2 for MVP.
Yeah, no doubt about it. You can see clearly that Michael Venom Paige is going to get that round on all the judges' scorecards. So right now, he's either up 20-18 on a judges' scorecard or we have an even fight.
Starting with those hands up, John, like he did in round 2. Now they're a little bit lower.
And this is, when you're looking, I just said we have an even fight, but that's the problem with the scoring of MMA is if you did give the first round to Ross Houston, there is a big difference between that first round and the second round, because if you're saying, well, which one was better? Well, obviously Michael Paige did a lot better work in the second round than if you were going to give Houston the first round that he did. And so it's even on the cards maybe, but not even in what we've seen happening inside the cage.
Because you know what I'm going to ask you now, not quite enough for a 10-8, right?
No, definitely not enough for a 10-8.
That's why every fighter will say, I do not want to leave it in the hands of somebody else. 3 other dudes making the decision
and it's so,
of my arm being raised.
But it's so hard when you're going against someone that is so good in either Ross Houston or, it's not easy to get rid of a good fighter.
Absolutely. No denying the durability of Ross Houston or Michael Venom Paige.
There's no doubt at this moment now in the fight, Ross Houston is a little bit hesitant. When I talked about that confidence has been broken a little bit. He was in positions that he did not expect to be in against Michael Paige, and that second round didn't unfold the way that he had played it out in his mind. So he needs to get that confidence back, get back to what he does well, start, just taking his time, be smart. Same way he got into him before, change levels, time that entrance and get a hold of him and put him back into your world.
And Big John, especially with MVP doing some of his damage or the majority of his damage on the ground, which is where Ross Houston, at least on paper, thought that he would have the advantage in this fight.
Yeah, and that's what I'm talking about. When someone does something, you don't think he's going to be difficult for you in that position, and all of a sudden, it's a different world than you thought. It's a confidence killer.
MVP just sees those spins coming from, well, all the way back in the United States. And no disrespect to Ross, that's just MVP's many years of competing.
Ross Houston with the wizard there trying to bring him over. Again, Michael using good technique, has that hand inside, brings him against the cage here. And you're taking a look. Right now we have a 50-50 position. Both have an underhook, both have the over. Who's going to do something with the position? Is Paige going to try to bring him down again? Because he did good work in the second round on the ground.
MVP has only gone the distance 3 times in his professional career. 3-0 in those fights. Houston has had moments where he has taken this fight, John, to where he wanted, into what he had hoped would be his world. But I'll tell you what, Michael Venom Paige, his globe has grown, and you can see the all-around skill set just continuing to mature.
Yeah, well, it's obvious that, you know, the guys that he's working out with at the London Shoot Fighters, you know, he's making them better and they're making him better. And, you know, he has got a ground game. You can sit there and say whatever you want. Is he a submission master? No, he's not a submission master, but man, he is proficient on the ground. Defensively, he's good, and offensively, when it comes to ground and pound, he lays down heavy strikes. Look at how hard Ross Houston is working here, trying to get this takedown. He should go to that double leg again, right with where his legs are at. He's trying. Back to the single leg. Please be careful of that guillotine.
Final 20 seconds of this fight.
Michael Paige ends up in the top position. Ross working his way back out.
Our main event will go the distance.
Ladies and gentlemen, we go to our judges. Sal D'Amato, 29-28. Both judges, Jennifer Lell and Doug Crosby, 30-27. Winner by unanimous decision, Michael Venom Paige.
MVP by unanimous decision. For those of you on CBS Sports Network, we will see you on Thursday from the Mohegan Sun Arena. Right now, it's time for college football. The Citadel and Army begins right here, right now. Those of you with us still on BBC iPlayer, we will interview the winner. Here's Gareth with MVP.
Michael Venom Paige, the crowd, I think, wanted a finish from you tonight. We didn't get one.
I don't like to make excuses, but the canvas today was so slippery, I had to change my whole style. This is why after the first round, I stopped bouncing. I couldn't kick, because every time I tried to lift my leg, I was gonna slip. So it would have just defeated the whole point. So I had to go very basic. Ross is not a guy you can play with. I went to plan Z and decided to fight.
But it was a very interesting chess match, wasn't it, in the stand-up and on the ground?
Again, it only was because I couldn't move.
Michael, you fought 5 times in 2019. You've got a victory this year. Now, where do you want to go next, and who do you want to face?
Everyone knows the answer to that. I only want one person. One person's giving me my defeat. Wherever you go, middleweight, I'll find you. Light heavyweight, I'll find you. Heavyweight, I'll find you. That's the rematch I want.
You're talking Douglas Lima, of course, who fights Gegard Mousasi in 2 weeks' time. So you'll be watching for the winner of that. You may even fight Lima or at middleweight if he holds the middleweight belt.
If it's anywhere he wants to. Some people are talking like he's not going to come back down to welterweight. If he doesn't, then that means I have to move up. But that's the fight I want.
Does it irk you? Do you think about him every day then?
Sorry?
Do you think about him every day? Do you think about that defeat? You have to get revenge?
No. I've got a lot more to my life than just MMA. But when it comes to MMA, that's the one fight that I do want. That's the one fight I do think about.
Your fights are always fantastic and fascinating. Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Paige, congratulations.
And on that note, let's take a look at the numbers for our first fight at a contract weight of 175 pounds.
Look, you can take a look at those records. You can look at the age, all that stuff, but that's 79-inch reach compared to 74. Derek Anderson is a guy that needs to get past that reach so he can be the violent, barbaric fighter that he loves to be.
It's time for the dulcet tones of the voice of Bellator MMA, Mr. Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to Bellator MMA. Tonight from Mohegan Sun Arena, live on Showtime. We kick off Bellator 258 with 3 5-minute rounds at 175 pounds. And now first introducing the blue corner. At 6 foot, weighing in 175 pounds even. His professional record, 17 wins, 3 losses, fighting out of Vista, California, Derek Anderson. And across the cage, his adversary, fighting out of the red corner. At 6'3", weighing in 174 3/4 pounds as a professional. 18 victories, just 1 defeat, fighting out of London, England, MVP Michael Venom Paige. And when the bell rings, the referee in charge, Todd Anderson.
Todd Anderson assigned the task of officiating our opening contest here at Bellator 258. Michael Venom Paige. Derek Anderson. The bell in round 1. Paige in the red gloves. Anderson in the blue gloves. The 175-pound division already spawning a Fight of the Year candidate as the only man to beat MVP Paul Daly and Sabah Homasi. Well, they teamed up for a Fight of the Year candidate that saw Daly stop Homasi, and, well, MVP up to his usual tricks, John.
Well, he has got a style that is very different. It is hard to deal with. It's hard for anyone to emulate in training. The only guys that are similar in his style, you're looking at a Ray Daniels, you're looking at a Stephen Thompson. So it's a style that you have got to just be patient with. He is going to be in and out. He's going to move a lot. But what you've got to do is not walk into his power.
You know, esports, super popular, but you're looking at the real thing. It's like MVP is straight out of a video game, and he's a cheat code. And look at that right hand that lands. The showboating. And this is where we talked to Derek Anderson about this, and Anderson's like, you know what? Let him try to piss me off. Let's see what happens then.
Derek says, when I get pissed off, I fight really well, so this is good. Let him piss me off.
Yeah, he's not scared of a fight. Never has been.
No, I'm telling you right now, Derek Anderson he's the prototypical Navy SEAL. From Southern California, tough kid, surfs, and just is not afraid of doing anything. And he is definitely not afraid of getting in the cage against Venom Paige.
Lead right uppercut by MVP, and Anderson ate it.
That was a nice uppercut. He did catch part of that with his glove. That's why he was able to eat that and not really be affected by it. But right now, the one thing that you're seeing out of Derek Anderson is...
Wow, what a combination by MVP. Sorry, John.
Derek Anderson is not being offensive. He's trying to wait because he knows that Michael Venom Paige is a counter striker, and he's trying to pull Michael Venom Paige into being that guy that initiates it, and Paige is doing that. He needs to respond off of it.
Boxing luminary David Hay watching in anticipation of seeing MVP get back down to business, and here he is in round 1 already showcasing some of what makes MVP. It is impossible to prepare for someone who fights like he does.
There's just nobody in your gym that does what he does, and so it's very difficult to get prepared for him. You think you know coming into that cage exactly what you're going to deal with, and then all of a sudden it's completely different.
But here's one way to stop MVP from doing what he does.
Find that ear.
Watch those 12 to 6 elbows.
Derek Anderson needs to complete this takedown. Just getting him against the cage, just getting in the clinch is not enough. You need to get this fight to a position where you can do damage.
Under 2 minutes remaining in the opening round. Elbows from Paige trying to get Anderson to break his grip. Anderson tenaciously trying for the takedown as we near the 90-second left here in the first round.
Yeah, Derek Anderson needs to really think about switching up what he's doing. He's just sitting on that single leg. He needs to switch that to a double leg, switch it back to the single. You've got to transition. You've got to chain those techniques together.
Feints from MVP. The mobility. A kick by MVP, and what a recovery by Anderson. A gunshot here at the Fight Sphere, courtesy of Paige, and Anderson's nose is broken. My God.
That kick broke Derek Anderson's nose completely. It is flat on his face right now, so he's not going to be able to breathe.
A thunderclap, and followed by a right hand.
This is what I was talking about. You start to get into that position. You think you know until you get in there, and all of a sudden it's completely different. He is explosive with his techniques. He is fast. He is accurate. He covers distance so well that you think that you're safe, and all of a sudden he's into you.
Incredible that Derek Anderson survived that kick. MVP TV has come to Showtime, and what a start by Michael Venom Paige.
There we go. Good. Walk back to the corner. Thank you. Fight's over, gentlemen. Take a second.
And this fight is over as that crushing kick spells victory for Michael Venom Paige, improving to 19-1 overall, 15-1 here in Bellator, recording his 12th knockout victory. But again, the proverbial hat off to Derek Anderson, who kept coming. He didn't stay down after that kick, John. It's incredible.
Oh, he did not stay down. That nose is not looking good. That's going to need some what we call surgery to fix that.
Ladies and gentlemen, upon the advice of the cage-side physician, referee Todd Anderson waves off the contest due to injury. The official time, 5 minutes of round number 1 for the winner by TKO, MVP Michael Venom Paige.
The tail of the tape in the main event, two very different records, two very different resumes.
Absolutely, but you're taking a look at that tail of tape, it all comes down to that 19-1. Because that one was caused by the man that's on the right side of your screen, and he wants to get that back. Can he do it? We're going to find out.
It is the most anticipated rematch in Bellator history. It is main event time in London. It's Michael C. Williams time.
Bellator MMA live on Showtime from the SSE Arena Wembley here in London. The time has come for tonight's main event. The rematch is set for 3 5-minute rounds in the welterweight division. Sanctioned by the Mohegan Tribe Department of Athletic Regulation Chairman James Gessner, and supervising at cage-side tonight, Director Mike Mazzulli. And now, introducing first the blue corner. At 6'1", weighing in 169.4 pounds, currently ranked number 1. The 3-time former welterweight world champion enters with 32 professional victories, 9 losses. From Goiás, Brazil, he fights out of Atlanta, Georgia, USA, Douglas, the Phenom Lima. And across the cage, his adversary fights out of the red corner. At 6'3", weighing in 170 pounds even. The number 2 ranked welterweight tonight stands near perfect with 19 professional victories, just 1 defeat. Hailing from and fighting out of London, England, MVP Michael Venom Paige. In charge of the action, referee Mike Beltran.
He has an entire city, an entire country behind him, and he couldn't look any happier about it. Two and a half years of waiting. John, if this crowd is waiting for Douglas Lima to become impatient, they're waiting on the wrong guy.
They are waiting on the wrong guy. Douglas does not change who he is for no matter what.
Lima quickly back up.
I think that was more of all body position coming forward as far as it really didn't hurt Lima, but it definitely gave him something to think about. But Douglas Lima does not change. He is a very strategic fighter. He knows what he wants to do, and he's gonna take his time and wait for his moment.
If this is the first time you've seen MVP fight, the speed with which he closes distance is what makes him uber dangerous.
You're absolutely right. It's his ability to read, and he loves the counter. He wants you to attack him. He wants you to come forward, and he will close that space and land with power.
Think about the spectacular knockouts you have seen throughout the course of the night. All those walk-offs. Got Lima good. Now, does MVP stay patient, which he didn't in the first fight?
Well, you notice right now, notice he's not crushing that distance. He's allowing Douglas Lima to come towards him. So he is not doing the same thing. He was crushing the space and trying to create something in the first fight. Right now, he's taking his time and just staying relaxed.
Was an inch away from hitting Lima and behind that ear, which would have been a major problem. And now Douglas Lima finally saw the opportunity to shoot.
A very smart move by Douglas Lima. Get him to the ground, make him work down here. It doesn't matter even if you end up keeping him down here. It matters that now he has to think about dealing with the takedown.
MVP has some wins from down here. Toe hold win over Jeremy Holloway.
First time I refereed him, he pulled off a submission. I go, well, that's not what you're supposed to do.
There's so many elements of his game we never get to see. The other element here, if this qualifies, if it ends up qualifying as another slow start for Douglas Lima, he's fought so many 5-round fights the last few years. A slow start in a 3-round fight is big trouble.
Well, what you're seeing right now, Michael Venom Paige has got very big hands and he's got strong hands. The wrist control that he's able to now utilize on Douglas Lima, it's not easy to break. Nice job by Douglas trying to pull it away. Lima needs to just stay composed, keep that posture, and when you get the opportunity to break your hand free, make it pay.
What does it tell you when Douglas Lima changes hip position like that?
It's telling you, look, he's trying to actually get his hands free. He's having a hard time doing it. His hips are perfect. His posture is great. But he has no tools to attack with based upon Venom being able to just control those wrists. If he's gonna grab that wrist, you want to think about taking your elbow and rolling it over the top of the wrist and bringing that elbow straight over the top down into his forehead area face.
Douglas Lima can lay in some of those heavy leg kicks from this spot.
Right now, Michael Venom Paige, he should come forward. Attack that knee, go for that straight kick, and then get yourself back to your feet.
Try to avoid taking damage as Lima can lay it in. Lima won the first round of the first fight, and then MVP had a very strong second round going until he got careless.
That's right. But Lima shows you why he is such a good fighter. He doesn't get excited. He doesn't get flustered. He doesn't allow himself to get brought out of what he does best. But right there, that's what Michael's talking about. You see how he's controlling that distance, and you see Lima throwing that kick, but it not landing.
One thing MVP has been able to do at this distance is Lima misses a wild left hand. He hasn't had to take those leg kicks because he's kept the distance. That's where Douglas Lima has chopped so many guys down.
Lima's trying to figure out the rhythm of when Paige is going to step in and try to attack. He just can't get it down yet. There again, you notice, there goes the kick, nothing there. Again, the kick, nothing there. That's the control that, you know, as Michael was talking, 6 inches difference of space, that lands.
You can tell while he is sticking with his normal style, there isn't the clowning, there isn't, you know, MVP knows who he is in there with. The 3 inches of difference and why this fight is still going on. Deja vu all over again.
Douglas Lima timed that little step in, landed that kick, took Paige off of his feet. Paige got up close to the same way. He needs to be very careful if he gets put on the ground, how he gets up.
Leading with the jump knee to look for an opening. Douglas Lima has not been stopped since 2008. He was 20 years old. That's how hard it is to finish this fight.
Douglas Lima is just a savage. Yeah. You may beat him, but if you come back and you try to do it again, he's going to come up with a completely different idea of what he's going to do to you. Go to Rory McDonald, go to Koreshkov, go to any of them, they'll go, yeah, he was a different fighter.
Lima looks more comfortable than he did in the first couple of minutes. He has his legs underneath him now.
The one thing I was talking about, you need to move Douglas Lima backwards. You can see Paige could not at this time get him to move backwards. That says a lot about what Douglas Lima is doing in this fight.
Combat is all about deception. There are very few fighters as deceptive as Michael Venom Paige, but there's a reason Douglas Lima hasn't been finished in 13 years. That right got him a little bit back in the ear.
He wobbled him, touched him, got a little run over, but it definitely had a little bit of impact on him. He felt it.
Drama continues to build. So you have it even through 2.
I have it even through 2.
And I believe a possibility exists that people have it even through 2 that saw it the opposite way.
Could be. Paige there's so many feints, good feints, but they don't feint his feint.
He had a great start, first 2 minutes of this fight. Caught Lima a couple of times. Crowd was going bonkers. And Douglas Lima kind of settled himself into the fight with that takedown about 2.5, 3 minutes into round one. And has looked much more comfortable since. MVP fights can end one way or the other in a flash.
Trying to close that distance, kind of push Paige towards that cage wall. That's a good idea.
First, and the second time MVP ducks out of the way of another fight-finishing mighty wallop of Douglas Lima.
He didn't get hit with a shot that hurt there. He just went down based upon his placement in the cage and slipping down.
Lima's closed the distance. It's subtle, but he's closer now than he was earlier in the fight. He got a pretty good right hand there. This has been a good 2 minutes here for MVP in a very close fight.
It's not going to take much to make a difference in this round. Both guys have got to figure, hey man, I need this. I need this round to win this fight. Paige definitely needs to figure out when he steps outside of that circle, he needs to get himself back towards the center of the cage.
These are two home run hitters at the plate, and at any second they can land. Now, a fascinating 2 minutes here.
Well, right now I would tell you, you have 3 minutes of stand-up where you might have Michael Paige barely ahead. Maybe he's barely ahead. He cannot stay in this position and think he's going to win this fight.
This might very well come down to whether or not MVP can get back on his feet.
Well, right now, what he's looking towards is making the referee get him back to his feet. And the referee at this point, since he's the one that's stalling the fight, he's going to let Lima try to work his way through it. It's not a good strategy. Look where he's looking up.
He's looking up. He wants it back on the feet. He wants Mike Beltran to stand him up.
He should be taking his feet, opening up that guard, feet on the hips, push off, get himself up.
Instead, now he is on the defensive. There's the up kick. But it doesn't get him out of it.
Douglas Lima doing a good job, bringing his hips forward, keeping pressure down on him. Just needs to take his time, work his hands through. You can see the grip strength on Paige and his ability to hold that wrist. Lima's got nothing but problems trying to get his arms free.
To this point, Lima has not been able to generate the offense that he did from this spot late in the first round.
No, not at all. That's what he needs to do. There's the elbows that we're talking about. Even if he has that wrist, roll that elbow over.
Oh, this is going to be close.
I want 2 more rounds.
I think we all want 2 more rounds. Yoel Romero wants 2 more rounds.
Yes, he does.
But instead, 2 of the best in Bellator history go the distance, and a fascinating decision awaits.
Ladies and gentlemen, we go now To your 3 judges at cage side for the decision, your first judge, Ben Cartledge, scores the fight 29-28. He sees the fight for Lima. Your second judge, Eric Killeen, 29-28. He sees the fight for Paige. Your third and final judge at cage side, Doug Crosby, scores the fight 29-28 for the winner by split decision, MVP Michael Paige.
It was not without controversy, and it was by his fingernails, but MVP has scaled Mount Lima.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am here with MVP. Michael, talk to me about that fight. There was a lot of going on. How are you feeling?
Oh. London! Guys, you know me already. I want to put on a show. I apologize. One, I didn't do that, but I know my boy Skepta did that for you on his way out, no? I wanted to finish. My man's a tough man. I understand why he's been a champion 3 times. Everyone give it up for Douglas Lima, please. Thank you, bro. Thank you, bro. Even when I hit him with those big shots, he just kept coming, and then he started to adjust to make it slightly more difficult. I want to thank Bellator. Massive thanks to Bellator, because this promotion, the reason why it's so full is because of them. And without partnering with these guys, I couldn't do what I do best. So big up for Bellator putting on a great show today.
How confident were you standing here in the middle that that fight was going to go your way?
I was confident, to be fair. I knew he was going to go for a takedown. I make all strikers, every single striker that stands in front of me, I turn them into wrestlers. Every single one of them.
You got a guy that's also out there that's holding onto the belt. Yaroslav Amosov is undefeated, 26-0. Is that the guy you want next?
Now I want that bling. Now I want that bling. I've come over, I got my redemption. Now I want that bling. The one and only MVP is back.
I gotta ask you one thing. There was a moment in that fight. Second round, he kicked your leg, you went down again, and you got up and he swung, and it was close. Could you feel how close that was?
Yo, fool me once. Fool me once. I got out with my eyes up. I saw that punch coming, and you know, I'm good at slipping. I ain't getting hit with that same shot again.
Ladies and gentlemen, stand up, give it up for the man, Michael MVP Venom Paige.
Michael Venom Paige, Goichi Yamauchi. Hey, title aspirations on the line.
Absolutely, and you can look at that 79-inch reach. That is massive. And the way that Michael Paige utilizes that range, it's going to be difficult for Goichi to get inside. But if he does get the fight to the ground, stand by.
With the official introductions, here is the universal voice of Bellator MMA, Mr. Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to Bellator MMA. From San Jose, California, live on Showtime, we extend a special welcome to the brave men and women serving around the world and joining us on AFN, the American Forces Network. Bellator 292 opens tonight with the welterweight feature set for 3 5-minute rounds. Introducing the blue corner. At 5'10", weighing in 170.6 pounds, ranked now at number 5, he enters with 28 professional victories, 5 defeats from Curitiba, Brazil, presenting Goichi Yamauchi. And across the cage, his adversary, fighting out of the red corner, At 6'3", weighing in 170.8 pounds, the number 2 ranked contender stands with 20 professional victories, just 2 defeats, hailing from London, England, introducing MVP Michael Venom Paige. And when the bell rings, your referee in charge, Ed Calantis.
Michael. Okay, go out. Yeah.
Crowd is fired up for this one. Michael Venom Paige getting a superstar reaction. Goichi Yamauchi hoping to continue his momentum. Let's go to the rules. The unified MMA rules for tonight's fight.
You go under the 10-point must-scoring system, and what that means is the winner is awarded 10 points. His opponent's going to be given 9 points or less. That's based on effective striking and grappling, followed by aggressiveness and cage control. Feature bouts are 3 5-minute rounds with our championships, our Grand Prix, and our main events at 5 5-minute rounds.
Michael Venom Paige has 12 first-round finishes, including 9 KOs. He scored a 10-second KO of Ryan Sanders in his Bellator debut at Bellator 93 in March of 2013. Goichi Yamauchi has 18 wins via first-round submission, and he has a 61-second finish twice in the Bellator cage. And this could end in a hurry. How do you prepare for someone like Michael Venom Paige?
Oh, we got a problem right there.
I think I jinxed it, unfortunately, saying it.
No, you said it could end at any moment. It just did.
It really just did, and not the way we wanted it to. Although for Michael Venom Paige, an electrifying finish, but Goichi Yamauchi has been injured, no longer able to compete. And what did I say about a 10-second knockout win in his Bellator MMA debut? That kick ends it.
That kick itself, you saw it. Look, that's a knockout blow, okay? That is a beautifully placed kick by Michael Paige. It did the damage. He did exactly what he's supposed to do. Goichi just unable to do anything after being injured with that kick, and it's a terrible thing for Goichi Yamauchi.
One KO for Michael Venom Paige. And the reason, we're all shocked, of course, it can end at any time. Was hoping to see more of a dynamic fight, but again, this is all it takes. One shot to the leg and it's over.
That's pretty damn dynamic. I mean, that was when have you ever seen that you could visibly see, Morrow, the damage done by that kick in that moment?
Shocking.
Ladies and gentlemen, with the blue corner, unable to continue. It comes to an end suddenly 26 seconds into round number 1 with the winner by knockout, MVP Michael Venom Paige.
Michael Venom Paige is one bad man, and he will be talking with Big John McCarthy.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here with your winner, Michael Venom Paige. Michael, it was short, it was dynamic, it was explosive. I believe that you ruptured his patella tendon with that one kick.
You know what, first and foremost, I want to wish Gotti a speedy recovery. It's hard to even want to celebrate when he's right there. I'm actually a fan of him, his work. It was a pleasure to grace the cage with him, but I really do wish him a speedy recovery.
You did this once before in another fight that I actually was in this cage, where you did something that I'd never seen done before. I've never seen that done before. What is it about you that you bring this power, this speed to this cage?
You know what it is? For me, I feel I work hard to be here, man. I'm dynamic. I know it looks like it comes easy, but I'm busting my ass every single day in the gym just to put on a show for everybody here, and I hope I did that. I know it was short, but I hope I did that still.
Yaroslav Amosov just defended his title. It looks like he might be going up against Jason Jackson, but is that a fight that you're looking at that you would like the winner of?
You want to see me fight Amosov? You want to see that fight? Let's make it happen.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the man
Michael Venom Paige.